It's time for the 12-hour-long Sonic Generations impressions video. It's longer than the game itself.
Hey, it could be 5 hours long and it'd be longer than the game itself. But I'm
Yeah, like I got the game midnight release. I came home and I beat it in one sitting, but I had to go to work at like 8 in the morning, so I was like kicking myself in the foot.
I haven't completely beaten the game myself, but that's because I insist on stopping at every level and every challenge mission and I just keep doing that mission until I have all the red rings and I've S-ranked it and everything.
I did that for the first 2 zones. Like I was doing the exact same thing.
I just made sure I got S ranks and got as many red rings as I could. I got over half of them first run through.
I was going through all the missions through each zone one at a time, but then after half of Sky Sanctuary, I just started doing the main missions. And
I just did the main missions first. Try to get S ranks, which isn't that hard.
Yeah. Well,
and as many red rings as I could.
There's a reason I'm doing what I am. Well, the S ranks is just me being stingy about my ranks, but
you get nothing for getting S ranks in missions. Nothing.
You get nothing for getting S ranks, yeah. But they're so fuck all easy to get, so it doesn't really matter.
In the main stages, there are a few missions that are kind of a pain in the ass.
The reason I insist on doing the missions and getting all the red rings is just because I want to collect all the skills.
I didn't use any of the skills. I still don't.
Oh, well, you have to at least use classics. He has the elemental shield, god damn it.
And the insta shield.
Yeah, that's not the instant shield. Insta shield and Naomi, my friend. I do not like the. Okay, let's. No.
Called the twin spin attack, and
called the twin spin attack, and it doesn't. You can't bounce off enemies with it.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. That's why I never use it. It's cool that they included it, but they got it wrong. Damn it.
Wrong. Ruined forever.
On the other hand, you get really big air out of the goddamn Aqua Shield. It's fun to use. and then just blasting through Crisis City with a lightning shield, so satisfying.
Yeah, I'm actually I've done all the missions up to this point, and but I'm still collecting the red rings. I'm using the electric
rings.
Yeah, I'm using the electric shield with Classic Sonic, and it makes getting to other paths so much fucking easier.
Hey, you want to know what my hands down favorite skill as Classic Sonic is though? Power Sneakers.
What does that one do?
Power Sneakers. It gives you 2 portable speed shoes that you can activate whenever the hell you want. It's like one of my biggest problems with the Power Sneakers in Sonic games over the last 10 years has been that they're always in places that you can't use. Places where you can never use them. But now I can use Power Sneakers wherever the hell I want, and it feels great.
and then one of the skills I'm sure will have Classic Targe Raging. You can unlock the homing attack for Classic Sonic.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Sonic 4, the way it should have been.
Pretty much. Although Classic Sonic still has a bit of uncurling problems, but not too many.
Yeah.
Well, here's one of the main problems with Classic Sonic is that the springs and pretty much every ramp are kind of semi-scripted, so it kind of hinders the flow, as it were. Not enough to kill the experience, but sometimes if you're like really good, if you play the classic games a lot, you'll think you'll be able to do something after a ramp or a spring, and the game doesn't let you do it, and that can throw you off quite a bit.
Yeah, and the spin dash is a bit finicky, but
spin dash is a bit finicky, but god damn it, I love spinning dash off an incline and see how far I can get.
Yeah, at least Classic Sonic has some semblance of physics, unlike 4.
My problem with a spin dash is that it's not completely all or nothing, but it feels like it's all or nothing. You either tap the spin dash button and you don't go anywhere, you just sort of sputter out, rather comically, I might add. But or you tap the spin dash half a second longer and you go flying.
Yeah. No, I was like one of the more annoying things I had earlier in my playthrough was just trying to successfully spin dash jump.
Yeah, he has to go like 10 feet before you can even try to jump. It's like God damn it, that's how you read.
Well, no, it wasn't just like it was. This, to me, this was especially noticeable in one of the challenges. Actually, one of the Green Hill challenges. Actually,
which one?
Where you're riding all of you're riding all of the swinging pendulums to get to the goal. That's what I wanted to use the spin dash jump the most. But the problem is, if you're not, I wouldn't say perfectly precise, but if you're not spot on, you're either not going anywhere or you're just jumping in place, and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Nah, I just wanted to use it in a lot of places, like I was Red Ring hunting and Wisp, and I was just trying to. No, I missed it, and I was trying to go back. It was too high for me to jump, but there was a slightly higher area to the right. I was trying to spin jump, dash jump, but Sonic just wouldn't do it. It's like just the little things that make classic Sonic.
It took me a while to get used to the timing for classic spin dash, but I did eventually get the spin dash jump down. It's still useful, but it's a bit too finicky to pull off that sometimes I just don't want to try it. You know.
Do you guys use the button input or the down mash to jump button?
I use square.
Yes,
I'm 360, so the button. So. I use the hotkey, yes. Well, you get used to using the hotkey because if you're going to use down jump, you actually have to manually stop yourself, and it's just faster to use the hotkey.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've been so accustomed to Sonic Adventure at this point that it really wasn't a problem with me.
No, it wasn't a problem for me either.
But speaking of Sonic Adventure, did anyone else have a serious nostalgia rush when you heard the speed up music from Sonic Adventure?
Oh yeah, every classic stage has its own speed up sound when you're using the default music. But if you're using if you change the music track to one of the unlocks, the speed up tune changes to what was it called?
Hey you, it's time to speed up.
Yeah. Or wait, or is it Hey you, it's time to speed up again?
No, that's Adventure 2.
You're not mixing up tracks here.
Hey you, it's time to speed up is Adventure 1. Hey you, time to speed up.
Hey you, it's time to speed up again.
What's the third iteration called? I mean, the fourth iteration.
Just fucking
God
go.
Damn it, move already.
Just fucking go.
Yeah. Well, on the subject of music, there is something that bugs me about some of the unlock tracks. Okay, the Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 tracks are fine, but for some reason all the tracks from Sonic 3 are like MIDI files with really shitty sound fonts, and that pissed me off.
Yeah, I noticed that.
They're not remixes, they're just very bad MIDI files.
Yeah, I noticed that too when I was checking out the ones I had unlocked.
Like, thank God Toxic Caves from Sonic Spinball was, spared total destruction, but even that is
as if the Spinball music wasn't irritating enough.
But the thing is though, like, why was that music approached that way in the first place? I mean, what's wrong with the original tracks?
Because it's Sega.
I get the feeling they were just lazy about it. What they did, they just sort of ripped the MIDI file and didn't, apply the correct sound font to them. Because Sonic 3's instruments were different than the ones in Sonic's 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I for the most part agree with you that I really don't like the instrumental quality of the Sonic 3 tracks, but I didn't mind Death Egg Zone too much.
It sounded okay.
Yeah,
no,
but everything else was. You should have just stuck to the original.
Yeah. Well, I get the feeling that's what they were trying to do, because almost all of the unlock tracks are original tracks from whatever game they come from, like Sonic Rush or Rush Adventure, etc.
Well, I'll say this now. Endless Possibilities makes a great level theme. I popped that in when I was doing Rooftop Run with Modern Sonic, and it fits so fucking well. It's like, yeah, this is awesome.
When you so much fun hear it.
Yeah, no, because that's actually one of the things I like about the unlockable music tracks is that when you're in boost mode, it doesn't get that filter effect that I fucking hate when you using the default music, and you can actually hear the music. Yeah,
that's good to know.
Yeah,
actually,
I do like that addition though. It lets you change up the music a bit and play Live and Learn for the final boss fight.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I think the final boss music is pretty good too, but Live and Learn just fits so much.
You want to
Live
know?
and learn or open your heart.
You want to know a track inclusion that I'm actually pretty thankful for? Stardust Speedway, Bad Future American. It actually gets a full remix.
I'm
instead of
pretty
just-
sure they did that just to avoid the shitstorm.
Yeah, well, you have to unlock it in I forget where.
I think you just
but,
get it after you beat Metal Sonic the first time.
Actually, no.
Yeah, it's one of the challenges.
Oh.
I got it quite a bit, quite a ways after that. But I'm glad they included it because now we have like both Metal Sonic themes there.
Although I do like the Japanese one better.
We also have one on.
How do you spell that?
Turn it up.
Yeah, I love how the remix includes elements of the present Stardust Speedway theme. It's just a kick-ass track. I love it.
Just between the music and how much I love the background of Stardust Speedway Bad Future, I do kind of wish there was a Sonic CD full level in there.
Yeah.
See what they would have done with
I
it.
agree with that. I would have liked to run around like fucking giant tubes covered in saxophones and shit. Or whatever the hell that level's supposed to be made of.
Good shit, man. Good shit.
The other hand, we do have Speed Highway, which is already Starlight Zone 2, the Star Lightning, all over again. So that's not my joke. I stole that from someone. I just don't remember who.
All right. Well, I don't care. That's not still funny. But have you guys already established your favorite level, most hated level? I have.
Most hated is probably
Favorite level, Crisis City Classic. Least favorite level, Crisis City Modern.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I
like both of them.
I like every level in the game. It's just that Crisis City gave me the most trouble so far. I haven't played Planet Wisp yet. Just putting that out there.
Fuck
Fuck Planet Wisp. Not so much Classic.
No,
because the game was pretty much 2D to
Looks
begin with.
sadistic, but I haven't actually played it. So.
I mean, the Classic is okay because the game was pretty much 2D to begin with. But Modern Sonic just doesn't work for it all that well.
No, to me the problem with Modern Sonic is that it's too fucking long. It's a fucking marathon. Wait a minute, now that I'm thinking about it, this really is one of the better Sonic games released in years because I actually have a level I fucking hate as Sonic. It's the Sandopolis of the 3D game. It's too fucking long.
On the other hand, there's your goddamn forest.
Yeah.
The beginning of the level is just fine. It's when you get to the factory area, it's like, ugh, end already.
Yeah,
It's like there's nothing to do here.
I haven't played it, but of all the wisps they could have decided to base a level on, why the rocket wisp?
You don't even use it all that much.
Yeah, you don't even use it in any kind of interesting way. The skydive sequence is gone. That's the only vaguely
You just do it to
challenging
shoot
part
up
of
at the end.
Just
That's it.
Shoot up, you break through a ceiling, and that's it. It was the least interesting wisp in the entire Sonic Colors.
The green wisp would have been more interesting for this level. Let you float around and do different things, but.
No, I would have liked to see the hover wisp or the laser. Why the rocket wisp? Both hover and laser appeared in Planet Wisp anyway, so it's not like.
As far as I've been playing, is there any particular use for charging up the rocket wisp?
None whatsoever.
Because
None that I can tell.
They
charge it up to go faster.
The second, I think, maybe.
I found
I still
couldn't tell
you get the same vertical distance regardless of not if you're charging or not. Nothing bad happened to me when I didn't charge it up, so I'm just gonna assume it's pretty pointless.
Oh, I think it's supposed to increase your speed, but here's the rub. Okay, for every moment you spend charging up the rocket wisp, you're spending that moment not rocketing upward anyway, so you're actually wasting as much time as you saved, so...
I mean, at least Classic has Spike, which is probably the best in the game.
The spring placement in the spike sequences seems a bit unwieldy to me from what I saw.
Well, it gets really obnoxious in one of the challenge missions. the one where you're chasing. The one where you're chasing.
Yeah, I saw that. I am not looking forward to that.
I haven't gotten to those challenge missions yet. least not that late in the game. I did the red rings first, and now I'm doing all the challenges.
I've played
did
every
the opposite
challenge. I played every challenge mission in the first two eras, and I've S ranked them all. And I can say, every time a challenge mission pisses me off, it's inevitably one of the friend missions. Ruse the Bat, fuck yourself. Thank you.
No.
No, the one where you're racing Ruse the Bat.
Yeah,
Vector
the crocodile
haven't
hit the note
that
back
yet.
a whole bunch of
I
times.
haven't
Fuck
played
you.
that yet, which is probably why I don't hate it yet. But
You're going to hit it.
Ruse the Bat, when you're racing against her, I use the term racing loosely because it's just a get to the end without getting killed mission. She's dropping bombs all over the place. You get to the last stretch, there's a bomb every 2 feet. It's like impossible not to land on
Yeah,
one.
she completely plasters the end post with bombs.
You know, I get the feeling that what you're supposed to do is hit her a few times along the way so that she slows down so that you can get past that part before she litters it with bombs, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And while we're on the topic, Racing Cream, I am... Ugh, makes me want to reach through my television screen and strangle that cute little bunny rabbit, like, until she's blue in the face.
Why?
And then keep
How-
strangling
why
her more.
Is it one of those missions?
It's a chow hunting
Chow
mission.
collecting. You have
Oh,
to collect
God.
more chow than cream.
Oh, god damn it.
Then you have to reach the goal. The thing is,
Well,
creams
it's not like
fly.
it's not like one of the chow hunting missions in you know those godforsaken Unleashed challenges. You know, it's pretty straightforward, but you have to be perfectly
gets ahead of
precise.
you. Cream gets ahead of you, you lose.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, it's a good thing you don't need to S-rank them to get the goodies done.
And it's a good thing you have unlimited lives when you're doing challenge missions.
Yep.
That would be fucking annoying if you can get a game over.
Yeah, you know what? I actually did get a game over in Crisis City Modern, but I haven't actually died much. Most of the lives I've lost are just me hitting the start over button.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Now, like, I just hate that they take away one of your lives whenever you hit the start over button. Do they do that in Colors?
No.
I don't
Colors
think
didn't do that
they
at all.
in Colors. Yeah, I like that about Colors. If I wanted to keep my life, I could just exit the stage and start it over again.
But then you have to sit through the load times again.
Yeah, I know, which is why I don't do it. But just what the fuck?
Well, actually, I didn't. Then again, I installed the game onto my the hard
I
drive, so
installed it
those
too.
are-
I have the PS3 version, so I can't do that.
So the load times are actually. I thought the load times were pretty good.
Even without installing it, it's not that bad.
No, the load times are good. It's just sitting through them over and over every time you hit the start over button in Modern Crisis City is kind of fucking annoying.
I had no problems with Modern Crisis City.
Dude, it starts you off with 3D platforming as Modern Sonic over a fucking bottomless pit. How can you not have trouble with that?
I did.
Maybe because Modern Sonic actually controls half decently for once.
Well, I will admit, I started that level with the acceleration skill equipped, so that did screw me up quite a bit. Acceleration increases Modern Sonic's regular running speed, so he basically becomes fucking slippery in 3D platforming.
Am I
But
still?
even after that,
Am
even
I
after
still
that-
waiting for Sonic to control just as well as he did in the adventure titles when he's not boosting?
Well, because the game is revolving around that, it's never going to.
I know, but there's a much more significant amount of 3D platforming in this game, which I'm incredibly grateful for. You know, it's about fucking time.
He controls better than he did in Unleashed
Yeah.
Colors.
I completely agree,
It's not perfect, but at least
but he's still a bit stiff.
Well, the problem isn't so much that the 3D platforming doesn't fit the controls. It's that a few times during the game they throw a really fucking precise 3D platforming bit, usually on the way to a shortcut or a trick hoop or something. And you know what? I just can't do those things. Like Crisis City again. There's this one part where you're jumping across a lava section. There are these fire things spouting up fire at you.
I know what section you're talking about.
There's this one diagonal, really small collapsing platform bit that gives you like a nanosecond to jump again once you land on a platform, and then you have to land on another, even smaller, collapsing platform, and then jump off of that one onto whatever you're jumping at. And you know what? I got onto that last collapsing platform, but I couldn't land my jump after that. Just like... But at least it was over top of lava instead of a bottomless pit. Can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah. Anyway, what was my original point? My original point is the controls are actually getting better, even compared to colors, I would say. But
well, it's hard to say with colors considering there was no 3D time to really do much in.
They're doing a lot right with the level designs in Modern Sonic, but they haven't quite got the control to where it needs to be for everything they want to do to work.
At this point, I'm probably just going to assume the next game will maybe have something a little more closer to a 3D platformer. But that's
they've got that uphill going. So.
With the level designs in mind, though, the controls work just fine.
Most of the time.
Yeah, I found a few little issues here and there, but it's usually
I'll say
just
this.
something weird.
Alright, the control during the main stages is almost always perfect for what they want you to do. Almost always. Crisis City being the exception.
I never had any problem with Crisis City.
Real. Just this that like one or two side paths that don't really mesh with the controls well. But the controls won't really get on your nerves except for one or two of the boss fights and about half of the challenge missions.
Actually, the only time
I never had any problems in the boss fights.
Boss fights never gave me an issue, but the only time, and I'm talking for Modern Sonic side at this point, the only times where the controls kind of frustrated me is during 2D sections. When I'm trying to do precise platforming, it's actually one of the bad things about having both Modern and Classic, because Classic does pretty well on the 2D. He's built for 2D in mind, but you got those Modern Sonics 2D sections where they expect you to do precise platforming like they have you doing Classic Sonic, but Modern's jump is gimped compared to Classic Sonic's, and I can't tell you the amount of times where they expect you to jump from platform to platform in an escalating fashion, and you'll fall right off the edge when you didn't really mean to.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to have to disagree on, because I had even less trouble with 2D platforming in this one than I did in Colors.
I'm just talking about when they want you to be really precise.
I'm talking more, but I'm talking more Modern Sonic, not Classic Sonic. I never had any problem.
I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, there's a reason I've only complained about the control in the 3D sections, because I'm actually fine with the control in the 2D sections. It works well.
Yeah, I just find Sonic a bit slippery when he lands on a platform that's really small.
Maybe a little.
And I do not like how the homing attack now has a set distance to it. It was the same thing in Colors, but it wasn't so bad there because there just wasn't as much precise platforming.
Well, Colors' homing attack range is fucking obnoxiously large.
While we're on the subject of the homing attack, this might sound like a random question, but did any of you try to homing attack the helicopter at the beginning of Speed Highway Modern?
I did it once.
Did you land on it?
Yeah, I landed on it. It's a pretty big shortcut.
I didn't.
How the fuck did you land on it? The thing takes off right away.
What I didn't mention was that it was pure fucking luck, and it wasn't intentional.
I'm trying to. I tried over and over and over again to land on that goddamn helicopter, but it takes off without you. Your homing attack chases after it at the exact same speed, and then your homing attack runs out, and you're fucked.
Well, see, like one of the skills that you can get from Modern Sonic is the endless boost, and when I got that was one of the first things I actually. Well, keeping in mind that when you got the endless boost equipped, you can't collect any rings, so you're pretty much a one hit point wonder. So I started experimenting with a lot of Modern stages. So I was pretty much boosting everywhere to see what kind of shit I can find, and that's when I accidentally found the helicopter.
I've never tried that.
Speaking of which, though, endless boost can make you pretty damn aware of some of the technical flaws the Modern stages have, because I've done my share amount of clipping and going outside boundaries with this stage.
I've done that too, and I've also had the game glitch up and forget the boost graphic was there, so Modern Sonic would just sparkle whenever he was running really fast.
I've run outside loops. I've clipped through one of the floor quarters in Sky Sanctuary, and I guess I missed some kind of scripted event in Sky Sanctuary because the second half of the level didn't load, and I was standing on invisible platforms.
The only time I've had something like that is that I wound up beneath Perfect Chaos. I guess I was boosting, but I hit something, so I stopped boosting and fell right underneath him, and I guess I hit the boost button just as I was about to hit the invisible kill zone underneath him. So I technically got the hit, but I didn't go anywhere, and I was just technically underneath him in this black, watery void.
Oh man.
Oh, and the
I tried to replicate it, but I just.
You know what though? This game absolutely terrified me in 2 occasions that my 360 was on the verge of red ringing. Because first thing, the opening intro's cutscene looks like shit.
It's a video file, and the compression is horrible, like YouTube horrible.
It is
like,
incredibly pixelated. At first, I thought,
which?
The opening cutscene.
The opening cutscene. The birthday party. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's on the PS3 version. I'm not.
I didn't. The only pixelation I've noticed is the grass. And I'm not so much concerned about that. The character models look just fine.
This is a matter of not a low poly grass. This is just pure.
You know what?
Incredibly glaring.
PS3 version might actually have a real-time cutscene there.
Yeah,
because,
I haven't experienced any.
The difference isn't nearly.
With me. I noticed the same thing because I've seen PS3 playthroughs.
Yeah,
YouTube,
and that cutscene looks fine,
problem.
but in the 360 version, the opening cutscene isn't even a real-time cutscene. It's a video file, and it's a bad one. And I have no fucking idea why it's so bad. There's no fucking excuse for it.
At first, I thought oh, please don't tell me my 360 is on the verge of death here. But then I found out, no, it's like that on every 360. And I was like, well, what the fuck? I mean, like how do you miss something like that?
But then, point one for the PS3 version.
And then when I was doing Challenge 4 in Planet Wisp, the game froze on me. I'm guessing, and you know what? Ironically enough, is when I decided to replace the music with a Sonic 06 track.
Oh man.
But like, fuck's sake, man, stop doing that. Like, I know my 360 is the old variety, and I've had it for about 3 years now. But don't red ring on me now.
At least let me beat this game first.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying.
It's a quick back to the store to get the PS3 version.
Yeah. Well, I do also plan on getting the PC version when it comes out. I have the spare cash for that.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
Are you jealous, Ted?
What? He's getting it too, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's not out yet.
Oh, Johnny was originally going to get me the PS3 version instead of the 360 version, but my PS3's disc reader decided to break.
And his PS3's disc reader suddenly decided to stop working.
Yeah, it won't take discs in anymore.
I want the 360 version.
Guess I should count my blessings and thank God it let me take out the disc that was already in there. Fixing that thing would cost like $99 fucking to send in, so oh well. Alright, okay. We've talked about classic Sonic, we've talked about modern Sonic. What do y'all think of what little story this game actually has?
Actually,
many missed opportunities.
Yeah, do you know what? The worst aspect to me of this game is the story. I'll say that right out now. Like, for an anniversary title, this was incredibly underplayed.
Yeah,
there's a few little winks and nods early on, like Tails doesn't recognize Green Hill. He mentions that pink water really makes me nervous for some reason.
Yeah,
it's like other than that, there's really no tongue-in-cheek stuff. They really
apparently Sonic and the Secret Rings is canon.
Yeah, but that was mentioned in such a way that it's like they're making fun of it. I really wish they had done that with 06 though. Like they missed that opportunity too.
Or and I suggested that Modern Sonic just develops the uncontrollable urge to just state the obvious for a while.
On that note, it was immensely satisfying to see Silver the Hedgehog get crushed under his own giant ball of wreckage.
Just fuck the giant ball of wreckage. I like seeing that fucker roll after I hit him.
Like, that looks like it hurts.
Yeah.
Take that, Hothead the Porcupine.
And
also, again, as you said in the beginning of the Sonic 06 playthrough, bullshit, he can't do any of that in the game.
It's the Silver the Hedgehog they should have given us 5 years ago.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is like one of those very rare occasions where a modern Sonic title just doesn't have enough story and doesn't have enough cutscene.
I didn't mind it in Colors. If actually, I piss people off, but I think Colors had a better story. But Yeah, it was like, it's an anniversary title. It's
Well,
it's supposed to be
here's the
tongue-in-cheek
thing.
referencing
What
the press.
little story there is in this game is good. Like the interactions between the two Sonics, etc. It's just that there's not enough. If you were to watch all the cutscenes back to back, it'd be like a teaser.
And not enough kind of character interactions. I mean, they talk to you once after you beat a stage. Sonic doesn't talk. He just kind of does a little animation, and that's it.
Well, yeah, you actually get a different sequence for each character depending on what Sonic you were playing as when you beat the second act of a stage. So that was neat. Like Knuckles asks Classic if he gained weight, and Classic Sonic looks down at his tummy in concern, like, should I be worried about this?
Actually, but one of the things, that I wished were a little more fleshed out, like the rival battles. Why are we fighting these characters?
So Metal Sonic is one thing, but Shadow and Silver really.
Shadow fights you just because he feels like being a dick.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know where we are, but I don't care. Fight me, damn it. Hey, you know what? The first thing I did after beating that, I replayed the stage with Supersonic Racing playing in the background. They actually included the original version of that track, which surprised me because they already have a remix in the game.
Yeah.
No, it's like, welcome to Sonic R, Shadow.
The Shadow boss was actually one of the more annoying ones, because I swear to God, Shadow will always come up behind you. It's like he's got a rubber band attached to you, and he can't go any further behind you than 2 feet.
He does.
When you're in close proximity to the power-ups, he will always come immediately behind you, just to make things a little more interesting. But you know what, though? I was actually surprised that people are saying they have problems with the Shadow. I never had a problem with the Shadow.
I didn't. I beat him easily.
It was easy as hell. He was just tedious. It's like, boost, boost, boost. Hope he doesn't boost in front of you at the last second.
Sonic R, Sonic R, Sonic R.
But can you bring Supersonic into that fight?
No,
I don't think you can use any skills in the boss fights. I don't think you can use skills in anything but the main zones, actually. And not you're going for leaderboard rankings, unfortunately. So no lightning shield for your leaderboard run. Damn.
That would have been fun to bring Supersonic into the Shadow fights, like pwned.
Interesting thing, Supersonic doesn't have his Supersonic track playing when you're playing as him. I thought that was surprising.
I kind of enjoy that, considering I would hate to hear the same 4-second loop over and over again.
There's that. I know. But to me, though, I'm actually surprised how gimped both Supersonics are in this game.
Really?
You haven't unlocked them yet because you haven't exactly beaten the game yet. But after you beat the time meter, you can
equip Supersonic
as a skill for both classic and modern. Problem is, Supersonic's classic Supersonic is pretty much just a coat of paint,
and he's invincible.
Yeah, he's invincible, but he doesn't get any kind of speed up, and he doesn't jump any higher. And his rings go down really fucking fast, like 2 per second, I think. And modern Sonic's Supersonic is pretty much play the level for you, but at the same time, we're going to take like 50 rings for every 3 seconds you're flying.
Yeah, it's like I just don't like using them.
No, it's like I'm actually quite surprised. Like, wow, Supersonic's pretty damn
pointless,
useless.
Yeah. At that point, you might as well just stick to the lightning shield.
Or the endless boost for modern.
Yeah, more or less. As long as, you're just really lucky about not getting hit by those fucking Iblis flying things.
I had no problems with them.
No, there's this one specific place in Crisis City. I think it's modern. It's in a 2D section now, so I can't be sure. Where there's this pair of flying Iblis things that flies around in a loop, and whenever they come down, they always throw a fireball at you. And it's just so obnoxiously timed that your first instinct is to homing attack them right when you see them. But right when you see them is also when they throw the fireball at you, so you're gonna get hit.
I actually want to go into that. I think the Iblis biter, the dog creature, has horrible collision detection.
It does.
So do the fire spouts, actually.
I never really had a problem with the fire spouters. It's just that I swear to God, I homing attack that fucker, and it acts like I got hit. What hit me? I don't know, because the enemy also died too, but I really would have liked to kept my rings.
Probably started breathing fire at you at the last second.
Or it's just pretending to be Sonic 06.
God, those bastards are clever. And did Shadow just give me that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
He did, actually. That's interesting. I wonder if that was intentional. I forgot. I was gonna mention that myself, but I forgot about it. Let me see.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, I am disappointed there aren't more classic characters in it. It's like we get classic Tails, but where's classic Amy and Knuckles?
Well, to be fair, the only other classic character besides Tails that matters would be Amy, simply because she has a vastly different design. There's like, we see classic Knuckles, what is he?
Shorter and thinner.
He's black-eyed modern Knuckles. Even his body shape isn't that different anymore. Maybe if he spoke in pantomimes like classic Sonic and did his evil laugh from Sonic 3, then it would be worth it. Maybe, but
you could have also done classic versions of the Chaotix, like longer and thinner vector.
Cares about classic Chaotix.
I do.
Why?
I don't know. It's like Super Small Charmy. Why the fuck am I connected to the baby?
The only interesting thing that occurs to me about classic Chaotix is that Espio would run with his head down like he was going to headbutt you, instead of doing the ninja run.
And they could have gotten some more unknown characters to replace the 3 modern characters for when you're playing as classic Sonic or something.
I suppose
it's like you reference Mighty and Knack and the others in City Escape. Why not use them for the hub worlds of classic Sonic?
Because that would take, budget to make models, to make animations, to maybe get some voice acting.
I thought that would have been a fun throwback.
I'm not saying it wouldn't have been good to see them, but it would have taken more money. I get all the Ray the Flying Squirrel and Knack the Weasel from the comics anyway, so I'm fine with that.
I'm just saying it would have been nice, because ultimately we only get classic Sonic and Tails, and it feels like a missed opportunity.
You know what would have been really fun? To see Big the Cat fishing in the Perfect Chaos boss fight. That would have been hilarious. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't take that opportunity. Or maybe have him run over by the truck.
So you can get him run over by the truck again.
Well, that, or I was seriously expecting a quick time sequence during the Perfect Chaos fight where you had to latch on to Big's fishing reel so you can launch you up to the Perfect Chaos's head to do a homing attack on. I'm severely disappointed. Worst game ever. Don't buy.
The one thing I don't get, I haven't played it yet, but I've watched it, and the final boss. How do you play it?
Fucking sucks. This is one of the worst final bosses in the series.
I don't get how to fucking do anything. I just modern supersonic boost to win.
Alright, I figured out what to do. It just takes too fucking long. And what you're supposed to do is that you're chasing the time meter from 2 different perspectives. You can switch with the Y button at any time. You can only hurt the time meter when you're on the 3D perspective.
Yeah, it's like I switched to Classic Sonic. It's like, what the fuck is he even doing? Is he doing anything?
Yeah.
I heard something about Classic Sonic baiting him into using a specific attack, but
No, actually, what the thing is though, when you're not switching between Supersonics when you're playing the fight. When you're hitting the Y button, you're switching perspectives. You're still modern Sonic because he still has the boost. Classic Sonic can't do that, even in Supersonic mode. The thing is though, the only reason why you're going in the 2D perspective is to collect rings and to wait until you're constantly in this vortex, and the time meter likes to phase in and out of the vortex. When he's out of the vortex, you have to switch to 2D to collect rings, to get yourself ready. And then when he's inside the vortex, that's when you have to switch to modern perspective and just hold down the X button and wait for something to happen. Yeah. That's pretty much what you're doing.
Sonic, it looks like a homing shot.
It looks like a homing shot.
Oh,
careful,
God, yeah.
Sonic!
Yeah, and you know what that pissed me the hell off, because we're back to Sonic 06 with the final boss, where all the characters are talking to you somehow.
And they don't fucking shut up.
Yeah.
Looks like a homing attack, Sonic.
Looks like a homing shot. Time will slow down. The flow of time has been restored. What is the point of that What was the point of that time break move anyway?
Nothing.
I never thought I'd actually miss Omochao.
Time for a change of pace.
Well, I actually like that boss battle though.
I like the boss battle, but he says that a bit too much.
Yeah. Well, he says that every time he's about to do the wall climbing section, isn't it?
He says it a few other times.
And you know what? I'm kind of disappointed. They could have taken that opportunity to have him say, "Get a load of this," but they didn't.
Maybe there is. We haven't. The game's only been out for 3 days, so
maybe it's in there.
Like no snooping as usual from Classic Robotnik.
No.
They should have done that when like Amy and Knuckles showed up in that cutscene in Classic Robotnik. Goes snooping as usual, or something.
You're thinking of the wrong Robotnik, dude.
It would have been funny. You know it.
I think it would have been out of place with the actual Japanese Eggman. And while we're on the subject, I think they nailed classic Eggman really well. Just like the way
Robotnik. No one calls me that anymore.
Nobody calls me that anymore.
A few years later in Sonic Adventure, Dr. Eggman, stop calling me that.
never mind the Robotnik gag, which is only in the English script, by the way. They call him Eggman in the Japanese version. What I really like is just the way classic Eggman gestures and talks and everything. He's like tamer than modern Eggman. He's constantly doing these wild, extravagant gestures with his arms and stuff. And
boy, will I really get that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do think they nailed classic Robotnik down pretty much to a T. But at the same time, though, that also brings up, some issues like the story elements. Yeah, the classic Robotnik's appearance is really supposed to be the wham of the story. It's like,
but we all saw it coming.
Well, we all saw it coming. Yeah, very true. Well, that, and I also spoiled myself.
I do appreciate them completely spitting on the face of the whole God Monster concept by making it Eggman anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's like the big reveal. Knack the Weasel and Tails doll.
Gotta love modern Sonic's facepalm when he sees that it's Eggman after all.
Yeah. Well, his facepalm is my positive delight, because I'm glad the final boss is Eggman instead of just another fucking creature. Though, really, in this case, it might just be a creature, I guess. But
in this case,
at least Eggman controlling it.
It's both Eggmans controlling a God Monster, so it's all three boss types at once. Too bad it sucks. Must be the God Monster part shining through.
Johnny, did you ever see the Some Things Never Change with Silver video?
Oh yeah.
They double.
It's no use. It's the part of the scene where all the friends show up to cheer Sonic on, and when it gets to Silver at the end, it's just like, it's no use.
That just looked up. Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
And that is humor.
Yeah.
Alright, does anyone have a particularly, one particular part of the game that just stands out for whatever reason, whether it's good or bad? Just, like, when you think of this game, what's the first thing you think of?
Ironically, Speed Highway for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the exact same thing. It's actually one of the most humorous things I had in Speed Highway is like during the building sequence when you're running down and you're being chased by all the cop speeders. When you finish the sequence, you get all these cop speeders just slamming into the ground.
It shoots the frame rate to shit, but it's funny as hell anyway.
The only thing I don't like about Speed Highway, no At Dawn remix.
No, that I
They could have at least included it as one of the tracks from Sonic Adventure. Oh well.
I mean, Classic Sonic is a perfect example of Classic Sonic. There's a lot of platforming. There's enough speed in there to be fun, but it's mostly platforming, and modern Sonic is just so fast a lot of the time.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. And even though, like, Louis, I know you haven't really exactly played Planet Wisp yet. Like, what were your guys' individual opinions on like the levels itself? Not counting Green Hills. Well, I guess you can count Green Hill too, because at this point we've already played it to death.
Well, ironically, even though they are less original than the levels in Colors and Unleashed, I think the levels have like more of a distinct identity to them, simply because they have, fucking unique level gimmicks all over the place and shit. Like even Colors, even though it was original level designs and everything, most of the level variety in Colors came from the different Wisp power-ups you were using at any given time.
So want to just go down the level list then, Johnny?
Yeah, let's. Sorry about that. I was a little distracted. I'm trying to get my Pepsi out of the refrigerator. There we go. All right. Well, personally, like a Green Hill, I didn't.
Green Hill is Apotos, only it's green.
Yeah.
Green Hill is good enough.
Green Hill is first off
good at what it does. It's
Green
a
Hill
first
does
level and it's a good first
The
level.
first level in the game gets you used to pretty much all the mechanics. The concepts. Of multiple paths.
They even throw this completely pointless wall jumping section in at one point, just so that you have a chance to realize, hey, I can wall jump. I don't even think it saves you time.
Not really.
No.
And it doesn't lead to anything either, so what's the point?
But that's about it. Maybe a red ring.
And apparently you can only wall jump on certain platforms now, rather than just kind of on your own.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna skip ahead this Seaside Hill for a second here, but you can also wall jump off of these,
A few
moving
little platforms for no particular reason, even though they don't have that texture either.
Yeah, that threw me off so badly the first time I played the game. Like I land on a wall and I start sliding down. Like wait, what? I can wall jump off of this? Because by this point in the game, I'm so used to the idea that I can only wall jump off the red panels. So yeah, that annoyed me. But back to Green Hill. I do like that they added these little red bumper things to the trip hazards.
So you can see them better.
You can see them coming, because in Unleashed, I was able to see most of them coming, but that's just because, I'm good at this kind of shit. Most of the time, you're supposed to hop over them, but if you run into them, especially in a side-scrolling section where, you don't have that much time to see it coming up, you stumble, usually into something like spikes or a badnik.
Yeah. Well, the problem with those in Unleashed is that they blend in with the environment. They didn't stick out at all.
And now they're
either red or purple.
So
you really can't fucking miss it.
Yeah. They're also a bit taller, which helps too.
Yeah.
It's nice to actually see them.
Something that I wonder why they took out is giving Sonic the ability to crawl. Because he could do that in Unleashed. He couldn't do it in Colors, and he can't do it here. Well, if you run into a sliding section,
and then you try and slide underneath it, you go so slow when he just kind of hovers in place.
Sonic actually went faster in Unleashed when he crawled, which is why I would have liked to have the ability to crawl under that.
I guess so, but I didn't really. To me, the way I look at it, the amount of time it takes Sonic to crouch down and crawl underneath the area is about the same time it takes Sonic to slide underneath it in Colors or this game. So it didn't really.
On the other hand, it looks fucking awkward anyway. So
Come on, don't you want to play an entire level just sliding, boosting?
Looks like either that or give him his damn spin dash back. Yeah. The second level, Chemical Plant. What did you guys think about it?
All right. First off, I want to say this right now, and I might be considered a heretic if I say this right now, but I had a much more fun time with Modern Sonic than I did Classic.
Me too. Classic Sonic is just kind of
Well, Classic's version of the level isn't bad. It's just very similar. It's just like a little too similar to the original Chemical Plant. And, they made the platforming a little more complicated in places, but essentially once you figure out how to stay on the top route the entire way, you're set for life.
Yeah. With that said, Chemical Plant. Classics, I thought was pretty fun. A big nostalgia rush all over again. Well, pretty much the entire game.
There is one thing I kind of appreciated. You know that one spring that if you jump over, you get to a massive shortcut after. You like in the original level, you'd go through a couple of loops really fast, and if you time your jump right, you can jump over a certain spring and just there's another path after that. They kept that in the level. And I like that because I don't know. I just really like that.
Well, Chemical Plant's actually pretty damn huge as Classic Sonic. There are a lot of pathways in Chemical Plant.
Yeah.
I do just like Minor Sonic more because it's a different perspective on it. I do love jumping onto one of the side
The side
routes
pathways
at the beginning because it's not as fragmented and it does a lot of tilting, which makes it feel really.
But that's what makes it even more intriguing. Like when Chemical Plant was first initially announced, and people saw that they thought immediately that those side pathways were just part of the environment, just scenery, and you're stuck to that one pathway. No, you can actually jump onto those things, and you can.
I did not know that actually.
Yeah, you can jump onto those and take different routes, and
yeah. And it's one of the reasons why I really, they're really getting it down here with 3D Sonic, because the 3D sections in this game have more multiple pathways than all of the other 3D Boost games. Unleashed Colors, I really think combined actually, Unleashed stages had some amount of multiple pathways.
They were basically one path. Most of them were like one path with several different ways to take that one path. Whereas here it's actually several different paths.
Yeah. Yeah. The end result is the same, but there's like 6 different ways to get there now, which is incredibly apparent in Chemical Plant and like Sky Sanctuary.
Which is the way Sonic stages should be, because it's the way Sonic stages were since the beginning. I think Sonic Adventure did some of that, and it started to peter out in Sonic Adventure 2, and then when Heroes hit, suddenly it just stopped happening. Now it's back, and it's awesome. You know what? I'm gonna say that for Sky Sanctuary. Go ahead. What else about Chemical Plant?
I like its design a lot. I just do kind of miss the whole Chemical City feel the original had. Like, it had more kind of residential-ish looking buildings in the original.
But on the other hand, we have like 3 fucking city levels in the game already, so I'm kind of glad it's gone in that, when you put it in that context.
It's just basically, it looks like Chemical Plant, but not totally to where I can... If it weren't for the up and down little tracks and like the pink water, I wouldn't have quite have seen it.
I got some very slight Eggman Land vibes from parts of the level.
Yeah.
I did too, actually. Well, more modern than with Classic, but it was actually funny with the Classic's Chemical Plant. As tradition would have it, there are sections where Chemical Plant starts filling up with water.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Mega Mac might have just pissed off so many purists there.
They call it water in the game.
Yeah. But there's actually just one part in the Classic's Chemical Plant, near the end actually, where you're not exactly sure at the moment, but the entire fucking corridor starts filling up with water.
Yeah, it is. I noticed that while I was Red Ring hunting.
Yeah, that's when I noticed too. Actually, like you have all these platforming options. You have the grabber, badniks, all that stuff, but it's also filling up with water. It's like, if you don't get up there fast enough, you might as well fall down. Oh, it's Sonic 2 all over again.
I think that was the point.
Yeah.
Only it's more than 2 block platforms. Alright. Now, alright. Sky Sanctuary. That level is beautiful.
Yeah.
Looks great, so many different routes. Love it. The only thing I don't like is I have to play the level 3 different times to get the red rings.
Yeah, but that's why I love it.
Mind you, I was going to try out each route eventually anyway, just because I feel like it. But at the same time, that's not how you get collectible missions.
I love Classic Sky Sanctuary because of the pathways are so different. And yeah, I did notice it too when you're doing because you pretty much have to when you get in the red rings.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing. It's just like. It was like I'm playing 3 different levels with the same theme, and it's like, it should be.
Oh, you know what? The level design in that regard is like perfect. It's just that I don't like being forced to play the level three times
to get
three
the collectible
to get
goodie
the rings. Like for the most part, you know, I got all 5 red rings in Crisis City Modern completely by accident on my first playthrough.
Me too.
And you know, that's kind of that I kind of like to be able to get all that stuff in one straight shot through a level.
It's like I like the multiple pathways. Don't get me wrong. It's great level design. It's just don't require me to play through level 3 times to get the collectible goodie stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it's only Sky Sanctuary that does it.
It's only Sky Sanctuary that does that.
The modern level is in my opinion the best 3D Sonic level ever made ever, which doesn't set the bar very high.
I would say since Adventure 1 and 2 again, the gameplay is so different.
Well, yeah. It's just like, you know, when I think of what I want 3D Sonic level design to look like, Sky Sanctuary fits the bill perfectly.
Yeah. And you know what, though? To me, with the way with the modern Sky Sanctuary, what does it best for me is the little nuances. And, like, you have this big ass area, and you can clearly see a grind rail to your left, or a spring pad right in front of you. And you figured, you know, let me do a little more exploration. Let me check out, you know, the right side here. And it turns out there's springs there too. You can go up that way. You can either take this path to the left, you can go through the spring route to the front, or you can do a little more searching here and there. Go out of your way a little bit and look at that. There's another pathway there.
Alright. And you know something, this is a purely aesthetic thing. But at one point, you're on a zip line. If you look in the background, you can see part of Sky Sanctuary is like Aztec in design. And I thought that was a nice reference to Sonic Adventure's, you know, Echidna civilization. I just liked that for some reason. It stood out to me.
A zip line jumping off from a zip line.
Oh, that was awkward as fuck.
Fuck. I hated that. I hated that so much.
You got the timing down, and once you have the timing down, it's fine. But the thing is, before you have the timing down, you're just as likely to homing attack the same zip line you just jumped off of.
Yeah.
At first, I thought you had the boost on the thing. Like,
yeah.
Are they fucking kidding me? Yeah.
The only other thing I really have to say about Sky Sanctuary is that Death Egg.
That Death Egg, yes.
You know what, though?
So
I kind of wish
beautiful.
that... Yeah, it is beautiful. At the same time, though, I was kind of hoping it would attack me. You know, just...
Or Little Planet destroying laser.
Yeah, or just
so it's like it charges up and then the game immediately stops and plays that clip from Star Wars.
Yeah, or at least the hedgehog destroying laser, you know? It's just like, you constantly have this crosshairs on Sonic that you have to just keep moving forward, just, you know, just to avoid not getting hit. I wouldn't want the entire stage to be like that, but, you know, just one particular stage, a section of the stage I wouldn't mind, where the Death Egg was actually trying to fight back.
Yeah.
And the egg robos fly out of it like a classic.
I was actually slightly disappointed we didn't get to see the egg robos flying out of the Death Egg like we did at the beginning of the Genesis one. But hey, they brought the They do?
Yeah.
When did we see that?
Right when it rises up. It's just they're just not as pronounced because they're not 16-bit sprites. Look back there when it comes up. You'll see them.
Oh, okay.
You'll see little trails of smoke coming out of it. They're coming out of the Death Egg. They're just not as pronounced.
Oh, I see.
They're actually modeled to scale.
Yeah.
Modeled to scale, meaning you can't see them at all. You know what? I've been
visual
dying.
design from Sky Sanctuary. It's like now it's with classic sounds. Like, damn it, Sega! Now I want you to remake Sonic 3 and Knuckles in this style.
I've been dying to see what a modern Death Egg would look like, and not that stupid fucking egg-shaped shit they pull in the Archie comics, like the real Death Egg, the one that looks like the Death Star, its namesake. And you know, they finally did it, and I am a happy camper right now.
But now I want to see the inside. Now that I want to see the inside of it.
I want to see the Sonic 3 and Knuckles inside of it. The Sonic 2 inside wasn't terribly interesting, to be honest.
You know what? That's what I meant.
Sonic 2's Death Egg was like 2 rooms and 2 hallways, and Sonic Generations is 2 rooms and a hallway.
Oh no, not even. It's 2 room. No, it's 1 room and an elevator leading up to that room. slightly more interesting, but not much. And the only thing that makes it slightly more interesting is all the platforms during the second segment.
Yeah. Speaking of the Death Egg Grovo fight, why do that again? We just got that in Sonic 4.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
have
At least
preferred.
the music doesn't fucking suck.
Yeah, at least that.
On the other hand, I did appreciate the opportunity to kick that boss's ass again, literally.
No, it's just one of those we just got for Sonic 4. I would have preferred maybe the other Big
I would've
Eggman
preferred
Robo from Sonic 3. You know, the one
that.
that has the giant Master
Yeah.
Emerald laser.
Yeah, that's the one I would have preferred. But you know, they went with the quote unquote iconic one.
Which we've already played a
Sonic
bunch of
4.
You know what?
times.
It
Already
wasn't for
got
Sonic
nostalgia.
4. I would have enjoyed the boss perfectly. But since I've already beaten Sonic 4, it's just like, okay, we've done this already.
Yeah.
So we've had this nostalgia trip.
Well, I
And
mean, the second half of the fight is pretty unique, even though for some reason I had the hardest time in my first time.
I had no
Yeah.
problems.
Well, you know what? I had some trouble getting the timing down the first time. I would move out of the way at the last second, and the crosshair would follow me a little ways, and it would miss the bomb. So,
Well, actually, one of the things I had a hard time with when, I got the arm to hit the bomb, no problem. But then when it's requiring me to jump on the arm, I keep missing it for some reason.
yeah, sometimes, it's on you to position the arm correctly so that you don't make that mistake. But yeah, sometimes it'll shoot out and it'll position itself kind of awkwardly so that it's really hard to jump onto it. On the other hand, the boss was really short and really easy.
Well,
all the bosses kind of are.
even
Yeah.
in hard mode.
Hard mode is more like, slightly longer and more complicated mode, but not exactly hard.
The other,
Oh,
let's see.
I would say Metal Sonic's hard mode is harder simply because Metal Sonic's suddenly more aggressive for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was about to say we should move on to the Metal Sonic fight.
Metal Sonic. The Metal Sonic fight was awesome.
Yeah, that's actually
Awesome,
what
but it's actually one of my more favorite boss fights.
even though it's incredibly simplistic when you think about it, for some reason I really like the fight.
Well, all classic Sonic bosses are simplistic when you think about it.
Yeah, but
Two of them.
Yeah, that was one thing that kind of missed me. Modern Sonic has a lot more boss fights than classic does.
well, when you get down to it, Modern Sonic has just been in more games.
Yeah.
But the only thing that disappointed me with Metal Sonic's boss fight is I wish the path just wasn't a fucking straight line.
Yeah, that's just by nature of what the boss fight is.
Well, on the one hand, in Sonic CD, the path you were taking had spikes to jump and different lengths and turns.
I would have liked the similar approach, just minus the incredibly obnoxious spike placement.
I just kind of wish it was more of a race like the original one. It's like you had this cool, Starlight Speedway, Bad Future, time to race Metal Sonic in this cool looking area.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's a perfectly fine boss fight. It's just.
On the other hand, I do really enjoy actually fighting him as I run, rather than just beating him to the end. It's just incredibly satisfying.
And
I found that though, you can
Eggman's
actually
magic insta-kill laser.
I actually did find out that you can actually, when he's doing that corkscrew attack, his drill claw, as you would say, you can jump on his head while he's doing
Yeah,
that.
you can. That's how I got the last hit on him, purely by accident.
Yeah, I found that by accident too, but I thought it was nice to figure out. You know
but
what?
also like the silver fight. I love watching him just skid along the ground after you hit him. It's like, ouch.
I can get down with this. But
Alright, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. The next level in the lineup is actually Speed Highway.
That's probably my favorite remix in the game.
Yeah, I especially like the classic version of it myself.
I'm constantly bobbing
both
my head to the
versions.
classic version.
Classic Speed Highway is if it weren't for that hilarious gag at the end of a Crisis City Classic, I would say that Speed Highway is would just barely make my favorite stage in the game, as far as classic stages go.
It's probably my favorite.
I love the stage design for classic Speed Highway. It's got plenty of speed. It's got plenty of platforming, but I think the balance is right. And it also illustrates like one of the 2.5 times in Sonic history when an invincibility power up has been placed somewhere where it's actually useful.
Yeah.
And the multiple pathways are somewhat difficult to get to, but not so hard that you can't really get to them.
More noticeably, the alternate pathway you're given the opportunity to get to at the beginning of the stage, actually, where you have to jump on those balloons. Yeah, that's really hard to get to without the electric shield.
The red one more so than the yellow one. The yellow one I can get to all the time.
The timing is really precise for that. Even though there are 2 balloons, you're not all that likely to hit one of them. In fact, I actually found it easier to jump earlier and land on the upper path itself rather than aiming for the balloons at all.
Yeah.
It's satisfying when you actually do get the timing down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Am I the only one that thought there was too many times where you see the alternate pathway, but you're moving too fucking fast to do anything about it in the first place?
That happens in both. That happens in both.
Like there were plenty of times where I was playing modern or classic Sonic where I just got the urge to, okay, I should probably get ready to jump soon because I might find something secret like, and and most of the time my instincts were right, but at the same time, like there were so many times where
I just find that as a matter of Sonic games, and that always happens the first time you play the level.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about that is modern Sonic games, even if you get that urge, you resist it because modern Sonic games have trained you not to do that, because if you do that in a modern Sonic game, you're probably going to sail off a cliff.
Yeah, there's an alternate path to death.
Which actually doesn't happen all that much in this game, even when you're playing as modern Sonic. Crisis City being the exception.
And then I just like Speed Highway the best because even in modern Sonic, it has all the major set pieces there, but perfectly fitting the new style.
Yeah.
Actually, the only stage in the game that lacks its major set pieces is Crisis City.
I wonder why.
Probably because no one really wants to be reminded too deeply about that game.
It has that one big loop, and that's it.
It also has the place where the goal ring is, which is actually, oddly enough, from Silver's version of the stage, which surprised me, actually.
Wait till we get to Crisis City.
Yeah, I know. Anything else about Speed Highway?
Up and down and all around.
They actually invented a meme based on that in the last couple of days. Let me bring it up on Sonic Retro's homepage. It's like a street sign next to a stretch of road, and it uses arrows to say up and down and all around.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. It's Let me just give you the.
It's also the only time in the entire game where Omega is referenced. E123 Omega Road.
Okay, let's see. There's the URL for you, Ryan, and let me just scroll down to Johnny. Where's Johnny? Where are you on my list, damn you?
I'm right here, Lewis.
Oh, you're invisible, that's why. You're way down. You're way down there.
Oh, it's a shirt design? I would actually love that.
Oh, love this.
Up and down and all around.
And you know what? People have actually been writing it out like that on the forum, like using arrow characters and stuff.
And actually, go to Aesthetic Gamers channel on YouTube. She has all the. It's a girl, isn't it? I'm not
sure. I looked at Aesthetic Gamers and Mitsurugi's.
Channels. When I talk about people on the internet that I don't know personally, I just say they, so that I don't have to worry about whether they're a girl or a boy.
Okay, well, the Aesthetic Gamers channel, the modern speed highways mix. The highest rated comment is this symbol up here. It's up and down and all around.
Alright, my screen just went seizure-tastic for a second. I have no idea, but it's been happening on Sonic Retro forums a lot lately.
Crisis City!
My first instinct was to think that it was because of my computer monitor bugging out or something, but it only happens, like, if I switch tabs, the screen is fine suddenly for some reason. I don't know. Does anyone know what that is? Anyone out there in YouTube land know a thing or two about computers? Like, maybe help me out? Alright, never mind. Move on to the next stage. Next stage.
Next stage. Rolling around at the speed of sound.
This is actually one of the stages I was looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
My
my
looking forward to
anticipation
it the most out of all the non-Genesis ones.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that made me get a little disappointed in it. But...
Well, the thing about City Escape was I was looking forward to it, but it comes right after Speed Highway, which is another city level. So, yeah, your excitement kind of gets a little blunted by the monotony.
No policewoman at the beginning going, blah 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 blah.
Not the same room forever. Don't buy.
One thing I will say that I like about the new City Escape in modern Sonic's iteration is that both the beginning and the end are much better than in their original form. By which I mean, the streetboarding section is a lot easier to control and actually more interesting in its design, like the ways you can go, the trick ramps and all that, the wires you can grind on, etc. And the end of the level, the truck chase, actually has some gameplay now.
Although I always seem to get hit once by him.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought the truck chase at the end was actually incredibly boring. You hold X and you quick step when you need to. That's about it.
Yeah, what did you do in the original version?
I held down and spin dashed.
Right. It's not interesting in and of itself, but it is superior.
This is the best game ever.
Now, the only thing I didn't like was getting one red ring in the beginning of the skateboarding section.
Fuck that red ring. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
You know what? I got that my first try by complete accident, so I don't know what frustration you're getting.
The ramp into another ramp.
The City Escape red ring that annoyed me the most was actually the one at the end during the truck chase sequence.
No,
because
I knew there was
one.
I knew there was going to be one there. It was just a matter of seeing it the first time and then replaying the level.
Yeah, I know, but I just hate shit like that.
No, going off a ramp that you can barely control into another ramp that you also can barely control and requiring you to be stupidly precise in the air to grab it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It took me so many tries to get.
Oddly enough, like I say, I got that completely by accident, so...
Bastard.
Yeah, I just seem to have this subconscious red ring sense, where I'll get red rings sometimes without realizing it. Like, after I beat Crisis City Modern, I realized when I was looking at the level that I'd actually gotten all 5 red rings.
Yeah,
and I'm
I did the same too.
Wait, when did I get the other 3? There was like one that I made a conscious effort to get in this little wall running bit.
Yeah.
But which was incredibly awkward to get, by the way. And the others I just picked up without realizing it along the way. City Escape Classic. Well, we pretty much said all there was to say about it before the game came out because they shut it off so goddamn much. But I do want to say that it was a fun as hell level, especially those truck sequences. Although for some reason, the truck seems to be able to keep up with Sonic just a little bit easier during that one part where it's knocking down all the platforms.
Yeah.
I can never jump on the damn things, even
Same
though they
here.
did. They did that while they managed to jump on the platforms when they were
Just
demoing stuff. But
Yeah, but I haven't been able to.
without the aid of speed shoes, I haven't been able to. Another reason I like the power sneaker skill.
Yeah, to this point in the playthrough, I haven't got to that top half yet.
Yeah, and you know, I really love how pointlessly awesome the skill you get for all the red rings in Classic City Escape is. What was it? Boardmaster, I think.
Yeah,
it's
you can
called.
jump on the skateboard whenever you want.
You can only use it once in a level, but it's just a skateboarding down the opening stretch of Green Hill Classic. It's just like, what the fuck? Alright, and Seaside Hill.
Another level I got all 5 on I got all 5 on Classic the first time without even noticing.
Yeah, actually, I almost did the same thing in that level. Seaside Hill was surprisingly awesome, and do you know why I love it so much? The classic version of it is like fucking Aquatic Ruin, only on steroids. It's like one of those water levels where you can stay pretty much completely out of the water if you're good enough.
Yeah.
Yet the water levels underneath aren't obnoxiously slow like, say, a Labyrinth Zone most of the time. So no matter what route you're on, you're still having fun. But it's one of those water levels that really brings out, you know, the good parts of Sonic water levels, rather than being one of those love it or hate it slow platforming levels like Labyrinth Zone.
Modern Sonic Seaside is actually one of my favorite levels in the game.
It fucking beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Kind of
It's
one of
out
those
of that without the frame rate issues.
it's kind of one of those levels that makes me interested to see how good the PC version is going to be from a technical standpoint, because if it has a better resolution and frame rate than the console version, this level is going to look.
I never had any frame rate problems.
Sometimes it stutters a bit.
Maybe
Depends
just
on
a 30.
how much-
I never had the game. I never had the game outright stutter. I just do know where it obviously starts slowing down, like at the section of Speed Highway, like we already mentioned.
Yeah, it never reaches Atabat levels of frame rate issues, but it does still have frame rate issues. And it's like it never tries anything hyper realistic like the Atabat jungle sequences, so it never really throws too much at itself to handle. But the engine still, it's like, I don't think we're going to see this engine used to maximum effect until the next generation, because they can't seem to get it right completely.
I will say though, modern Seaside Hill actually gave me quite a scare a bit.
What do you mean?
Want to guess fucking why?
fucking go-kart.
No, not the go-kart. The fish, the big ass chopper.
Oh, you actually went out the.
You ran out.
I was told about that in the
Chopper,
tutorial when it was loading. It's like, now I want to try it.
Well, I didn't get that hint. And here I am thinking, I could just blast through the water section, no problem. What the fuck are these buoys here for anyway?
Yeah.
But second after leaving the buoy, this big ass fucking chopper starts following me. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Dun-dun.
We get away.
Dun-dun.
from me.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Instant kill.
It reminds me of Jack and Daxter, like that, you know.
Yeah.
Where the big ass shark comes out and eats you if you swim out too far. There was one mission based around that chopper where you had to boost run across water and stay between the buoys. And at the very end of the level, I left the buoys by accident, and like right in front of the goal ring, the chopper jumps up behind me. And I'm like, oh my god, I made it to the goal ring, but it scared the shit out of me.
Nah, I did that in one of the Greenville missions. I was boosting really fast in the air. I went through the goal ring, fell off, but it still counted as me getting it. So it's like goal ring.
So you pulled a Metal Harbor.
Yeah. No. There's kind of
giant. On that note, I do want to bring up a glitch in Green Hill that has to do with the giant chopper in that level.
If you go back down the rail, he'll go in reverse.
Backwards through the chase sequence, yeah. The giant chopper actually will rewind itself.
Chaos control.
And you know what? The same thing happened with the truck in Sonic Adventure 2. So that's interesting. The more you know. Seaside Hill.
Go-kart. Fuck you, Sega. No, what I want. No. What I wanted to happen was you happen to have the cart and a little banner on the bottom goes Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing available now.
I did actually like the go-kart sequence.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the bobsled sequence in Cool Edge and Unleashed, only it was a lot more satisfying.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Cool Runners, the movie with John Candy.
No.
It was short enough to where I don't mind it, but it's just one of those, why am I driving a car? And that's why Sonic Drift sucks.
Dude, style points, don't question it.
Well, personally, I kind of like the turtle path a little more, only because
there's more to
buried.
And
there's more to do.
Well, I like having both there. I also like the route signs gimmick. There are actually two sets of loops where you can go through the route signs, and if you manage to stay on the upper path,
the top one has 2 go-karts.
2 go-karts and 1 turtle. The bottom one has 2 turtles and 1 go-kart.
And you do need to go to the go-kart to get like 2 red rings.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting gimmick, an interesting way to
use the triple loop things from each from the level design.
Have any of you actually gotten hit by any of the rolling boulders in the last section?
Nope.
I've got hit by one of them, but only because I got a little too boost happy.
Oh man, you suck.
I haven't gotten hit.
Well, no, not the rolling boulders, because there's two sections of that. There's the ones with the boulders roll left to right, kind of like the ones in Crash Bandicoot. If everybody remembers those.
Yes.
Yes. Rolling.
And then there's the ones where they bounce. I got hit by the bouncing one. I didn't get hit by the rolling ones.
Well, I guess I can kind of see that happening, sort of.
Do you like the fact that Modern Sonic had both levels in this remix?
Yeah, I love how they included Ocean Palace into that. I loved it so much. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, the level emphasizes Ocean Palace more so than Seaside Hill, I think. Which is good, because if it did too much Seaside Hill, it'd just be another Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
But I was actually a bit worried that Seaside Hill would be a bit too bland, included in the same game with another Green Hill remake. But
it's pretty much the reason why they had to include Ocean Palace in there to begin with, because they probably realized that themselves.
Yeah.
It still brings up the point I would have rather had like Hane Castle or a different level from Heroes.
Maybe, but Seaside Hill looks awesome. They could have actually. I would have appreciated a different level from Sonic 1, to be honest. Because, we've seen Green Hill Zone 6 billion times. Not just in intentional Green Hill remakes, but because the level trope is like the traditional level 1 in every Sonic game. So, we got Green Hill Zone remake number 9001, now with 100% more real grass. For all you people who are complaining about Splash Hill's plastic grass. But
we're getting Emerald Coast for the 3DS version.
I would have preferred. Oh, great! That's awesome. I guess it's slightly more. No, you know what? Fuck that.
It's not.
But, I would have appreciated... Well, you know what? I would have even appreciated Marble Zone a little more. Or, you know what? Bridge Zone. Even though that's, a second Green Hill Zone by itself. But, it's just that, we've seen Green Hill Zone so many times that even I'm getting a little tired of it now. But,
Again, that's kind of why I would have rather preferred something else from Heroes.
Alright.
I just thought either Hane Castle or Egg Fleet would have been fun.
Dreamcast era boss and rival fights. Shadow the Hedgehog. Fucking supersonic racing, bitches.
I like the boss fight. It did make me kind of want to play as Shadow because he plays exactly the same way as Sonic does.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of interested to see why they haven't included an unlockable Shadow skin. Although, now that I've said that, they're probably going to make it a DLC at some point in the future, aren't they?
From the way he moves and plays, he's obviously going to fit the exact same way as Modern Sonic.
Huh, exactly the same way he did when he first made his debut.
And the not so obvious, both of them jumping off in front of the moon opening thing.
Yeah.
The arc looks cool though.
The boss fight, the way you win the boss fight is actually kind of fucking hilarious though. Once you pick up 2 or 3
cores or whatever it is,
depending
you start throwing meteors up to Wazoo at Shadow.
And then boost him until he loses all of his rings and dies.
It's like a one-sided snowball fight.
No, what you do is you win by tailgating him. You tailgate him and he'll gradually lose his rings.
And then
once he loses them all, he dies. You win the battle by tailgating him. It's hilarious. Like, what were these guys thinking when they designed this boss fight? Did they think this up while they were like waiting in the parking lot to get into the Super Bowl or something?
How do you stop a running character? You trip him. That's pretty much the Shadow fight summed up.
No, I do like how they apply the Sonic logic to the boss fight. It's like, oh, he loses all of his rings, he dies.
Yep, I did too. I also liked how I love the boss remix of For True Story.
Yeah.
And I love how it plays Live and Learn when Sonic's on the winning side. I love how it plays All Hail Shadow when Shadow's winning.
Yeah,
you like the odds of hearing it are slim to none, but
it's there.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of fun to play when Shadow has all the beaters because he starts throwing chaos beaters at you. So it's a fun little gameplay segment.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just the only thing that really breaks the experience for me is Shadow's rubber band AI problem. But I've already mentioned that, haven't I?
Yeah.
He's boosting right. He comes up right behind you out of fucking nowhere because he's boosting and you're boosting. He rams you out of the way, and then you're ramming him, and then it's just a pot shot to see who gets to the power orb first. The perfect chaos boss fight.
Probably the boss fight I actually had the most trouble with.
In the
Mostly because he just Sonic kept clipping through shit.
Well, here's the thing: they're expecting you to boost down the sections you used to run through as Supersonic, but the levels don't seem like they're designed for boosting. They look more like they're designed for Supersonic.
Actually, in the beginning of the fight, I did actually have some problems because boosting wasn't getting me much. But like even the fucking boss fight have multiple pathways. Well, Perfect Chaos has multiple pathways that you can get to him. Like there's just one particular section at the beginning of the fight where you can take the right side and you'll get to Perfect Chaos like that, and no problem.
And if you take the left side, you'll go into this 2D platforming sequence.
Yeah.
I do like how you kind of hit him the same way by boosting up to him, kind of how Supersonic did.
Yeah.
At the very least, they chose bosses that you normally don't play as normal Sonic, like Perfect Chaos, you were Supersonic, and the Egg Dragoon, you were Werehog. So at least it was something different.
Yeah, I did appreciate fighting Egg Dragoon as, actually, Egg Dragoon seems to have gotten a bit of an upgrade, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The problem I had with Perfect Chaos was actually that some of the 2D sections were a bit awkward.
It was sluggish. Yeah, I will say that. What bothers me most is that and it's getting into techniques here a bit, but the Lightspeed dash is not as responsive as I liked it to be.
No.
Oddly enough, given that they went through the trouble of, highlighting all the rings you can use it on so that you see it from 3 miles away.
But now, in this game, it's only a specific set of rings that you can Lightspeed dash on.
Yeah, they have a button prompt, even, which is actually kind of helpful during high-speed sections, but I didn't really think it was necessary, because I never had a problem with a Lightspeed dash in Unleashed.
It just bothers me, though, that you can't Lightspeed dash on just a regular set of rings, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time to, straighten myself out during water running sections and stuff. What was I going to say?
Back to Perfect Chaos.
Perfect Chaos.
Who heard the first little, ta-da from Open Your Heart, and it was like, squee-tastic. It's like, yay, it doesn't look like shit anymore.
No, to me, it wasn't the music. It wasn't so much the music. It was that Perfect Chaos still had that iconic roar from Adventure 1.
He has the same Perfect Chaos roar, and that was awesome. I was half afraid that they'd screw the roar sound effect up, but they got it down perfect.
Doesn't have the roar sound. Worst game ever, don't buy.
well, it's kind of like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. It has a very distinctive roar sound effect to it.
Or Godzilla.
If they get it wrong, it just doesn't sound right.
Like Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly.
Rub a stake against a cello, Godzilla. Or that weird coughing sound effect the Velociraptors make.
Yeah.
What is that, anyway?
That is someone breathing into a tube.
Really? Well, that's not what I was asking. I was like, what the hell is that sound? How did they come up with it? Okay.
It's actually a noise that comes from their skull. It's explained in the movie.
The last bit of the Perfect Chaos fight, the platforming on the water spout, seemed a bit random to me.
Hi, Iblis.
It's a bit random, but I'm glad they brought in the second piece of music from the fight.
Oh, yeah.
I really do like that piece.
Yeah, the remix is really good, too.
Yeah.
I still just prefer Open Your Heart.
Well, they're being clever with the music and all the other bosses. They might as well make a nod to how the music changed during the last half of Perfect Chaos. Although you only hit them once while the music is playing, so there isn't really much time for the track to play. Well, unless you fuck up. Alright. Next up is Modern Era. Starting off with Crisis City of all things.
Sonic 06, you're actually good for once. Your levels are actually finished and your physics aren't wonky.
So this is what a Sonic 06 level would feel like if we could actually run fast through it.
And actually play it.
And notice how it doesn't begin with that god-awful board section.
Or have that wind tunnel section. Or max speed
Well,
section.
you know what? After Cityscape, I almost wish they had included the god-awful board section, if only so that they could highlight how bad the one in the original was by, remaking it only with control that doesn't suck. But, the Crisis City is by far the most 3D platformy level out of modern Sonic's levels. Now that I've said that, Planet Wisp might outstretch.
Planet Wisp only does that in like the first third.
Oh yeah, it's just like Crisis City.
2D.
Like Crisis City is like every 3D section is a platforming section. Like there isn't really much boost to win going on in this level. And on the one hand, that's awesome. I've been waiting for a level like that. But on the other, like I say, modern Sonic's controls aren't quite there yet, and half the time I wind up, that's the funny thing, the air dash actually makes it easier to land on jumps than regular jumping does.
Yeah. Well, because you stop dead in your tracks after you're done with it.
Yeah, and most of the time that gimped air dash pisses me off, but it actually became a godsend in Crisis City for some reason. Like, the only high speed section in Crisis City was actually the last section, which was the stand-in for that tornado's carrying a car. Instead of being chased by the tornado, this time you're running headlong at it.
And a quick step section.
It's throwing cars and wreckage at you, which is actually kind of annoying because it seems like the wreckage it throws at you is completely fucking random. So sometimes I get hit without noticing that it's there because I'm paying more attention to the road in front of me.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the thing I take out of the modern version is, holy crap, right? Something from 06 is fun.
There's actually an amusing achievement you get for making it through that last section without getting hit by something. It's called Look Both Ways, and it's an achievement for making it to the end of Crisis City Act 2 without being hit by a tornado-carried car. I just found...
But again, though, like
that tornado's carrying a car.
Yeah, at this point, though, going into what Ryan said earlier, you wish there were times where he would point out the painfully obvious, just to make things like I was waiting the entire time for saying the whole city's on fire. Well, no fucking shit, Sonic. It's Crisis City.
It's also flooded with lava, just in case you didn't know that part. They actually worked in several of Flame Core's gimmicks into Crisis City.
I was expecting that, though.
If I remember, the original Crisis City didn't have any lava. It was just bottomless pits.
That adds more to it with Sonic 06 being incredibly rushed and lazy.
Yeah, I appreciated actually the level-specific gimmick in the 2D sections for Modern, where you have to stomp down on platforms that are being lifted by lava spouts. Makes no sense when you consider the physics. That lava should be melting those platforms. But I liked the way it factored into the gameplay, so that was interesting. The classic level is insanely fun to play with a lightning shield. And at the end of
I had more fun with the flame shield, to be honest.
The flame shield I haven't unlocked yet. But
I need to play more missions, damn it.
Lightning shield makes it so easy to blow past the platforming. And there's even this one part where I spin dashed and then lightning shield jumped and I zipped past like half the stretch of level that was in front of me, and then just landed straight on I think it was on a bumper. It was just so exhilarating to pull that off. If I had just spin dashed, I would have landed in a lava pit. I don't think I would have been able to do that with the flame shield. But what really cracked me up was the goalpost.
Yeah, I was about to get it. I was going to get into that. Like, what do you think of Sega's trolling moment?
You get to the
That's
goalpost,
carrying
you're
my
right
way
there,
out.
and the tornado carries it away. That tornado is carrying a goalpost.
I also love how the
then you have
tornado
to go
just
through-
stops once you hit the goalpost. It's like, oh, damn it, you beat the level. Time to give up.
Not only that. When you get to the area where the tornado just rips the goalpost right from under your feet, you have to do another platforming section with the wind tunnel physics, which I really fucking hate, by the way. But all while you're doing it, the tornado's teasing you by showing the goalposts float in the foreground. It's like, well, fuck you. It's like.
Although the thing is, it's on Eggman at the moment, so it's like Eggman is like.
No, it's Iblis, dude. Eggman's dead by that point in time. No, well, at least I think he is. I assume he is. They never said, did
Sonic
they?
06, who cares?
It is actually kind of surreal seeing classic Sonic bashing Iblis monsters. And it's like he walked into a completely other
Why
game.
did they make a noise?
I was actually slightly disappointed they didn't take the opportunity to bring back the Sonic 06 egg pawns. You know, the ones that look incredibly badass but never actually got a chance to do anything because their games sucked.
You mean the not SWAT bots?
Yes, the not SWAT bots. I would have loved to see one or two of those floating around for old time's sake. Ah, well.
I think that's what the gun robots in City Escape were, more or less.
Alright, after Crisis City, we have a level which wasn't exactly exciting to think about before we got it, but it's surprisingly good in practice.
It's
Rooftop
probably my
Run.
most meh level, because I have no nostalgia value for the level.
Well, that
I mean, it's
we've already
okay.
seen it. We've already seen it in Sonic Unleashed graphics to begin with, so it's a lot more colorful now. And I did like the stage design in the modern level, but for me, the highlight of Rooftop Run was the classic stage.
Yeah, like in Modern, you see, it actually uses some of the hub world, like you see Spagonia University or whatever.
Yeah.
You do run through Professor Pickles' home.
Yeah, he actually takes a brief detour into Night Stage territory too, with the giant rolling barrel section.
Yeah.
And it's another level that's insanely fun to play with a lightning shield too. Very platformy, without necessarily giving up its sense of speed. The clock tower at the end annoyed the fuck out of me though.
Bleh.
Not in exactly a bad way. Just, you know, it's a bit gimmicky, and the section where you're making your way up and the egg fighter things are shooting their lasers at you, those lasers can catch you off guard sometimes.
Well, they're pretty much expecting you to just keep going forward without stopping. That's how you got to get past them without getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't manage to do that, you're probably going to have to wait until one of the lasers passes by the place where you're going to go, because if you don't, odds are it's going to hit you on your way. The actual clock face bit was, I don't know.
I hated
like
that
the
during the
idea-
Doppelganger challenge mission.
I
Well,
like
even though,
the
like,
idea. I like the idea. It's the jumping mechanic when you're jumping off of the poles on the clock hands that kills it for me. But you know something? That glitched up and broke the level one time when I was playing it. I actually jumped into the circle in the center of the clock, but I fell through. But the game thought I landed in it, so it was telling me to hold X. Right? And the camera was zoomed out and everything, but I wasn't actually in it, so spin dashing does nothing. And I couldn't actually get back into it because the clock hands were all in the wrong position and they were completely frozen. So I couldn't go on. The level
You know,
just
it's funny looking into that because the Doppelganger challenge for Classic Sonic in that stage, like Doppelganger has the hardest fucking time getting that clock face to work.
Oh man. You know why though? You know why it probably does? Probably because yeah, you know, it's not programmed to time itself for where the hands are.
No, the way the Doppelganger works in the challenge mission is that it's working off its own level design. There'll be plenty of times where you're seeing it stand on something invisible that's not there. Because it's not just a ghost Sonic; it's also a ghost level that's working with the Doppelganger. Cheating bastard.
Oh, I see. But it just fails at life when it comes to the clock tower.
Yeah, it fails massively at life.
Good, that means I should have no problem beating it.
Yeah.
Well, beating the Ghost in the Ghost race is easy as hell. It's getting the S rank that's the problem.
Getting the S rank gives me nothing, so what do I care?
Ah, well, I'm a completionist, so, you know, I like to do that kind of shit.
Unless I find out like a week from now, getting all S ranks on everything gets you hypersonic or something.
The thing I do like about Rooftop Run, especially in Modern, is that it's very festive for no particular reason. There's just a lot of confetti and shit flying around. And there are like
probably just to add more color to it.
Yeah, pizzazz.
Yeah, there's also more plants growing on the rooftops and stuff. It's a lot more lively than the original, especially also in terms of its stage design. It is a lot more platformy than the original Rooftop Run.
Yeah. Well, it has to be because they knew we've already seen this level in Unleashed in 2008. Just 3 years after it was released, you got to do something to make it feel fresh. Besides giving it a different level design, which is why I think the festival theme works pretty well.
And they have this random flying blimp thing that Eggman's bombarding the place with, which classic Sonic actually has the satisfaction of blasting apart.
But other than that, I don't have much to say about Rooftop Run. Again, I have no nostalgic affection for it. It's too recent.
Hold that thought. My mother just picked up Wendy's. I will be right back. I'm going to get mine.
We'll talk about Planet Wisp. We'll talk about Planet Wisp now, then, since you haven't had the chance to play it yet. I'll take that as an okay.
Well, we'll repeat everything we have to say once he gets back. God damn, now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I had something to eat before we.
But alright, Planet Wisp. Planet Wisp.
Classic was okay. Modern, bleh.
Classic. Alright, you know what the thing is? Sonic Colors as a whole was a pretty easy adventure. You know, it had the whole world was split up into 6 acts. What this modern version is doing is combining all 6 acts into one, and it's fucking long as a result. But at the same time, you have 6 acts merged into one, and you only have 2 wisps to work with.
One for each act.
One for each act. You have the Rocket with Modern, and you have Spike with Classic. But that's it. Which really, to me, hindered the level. You know, if I'm playing a Sonic Colors level, I want access to more than one wisp. And not just the Rocket Wisp. That's, like we mentioned earlier, that's kind of the more that's one of the more boring ones. Because you're just going straight up, that's it.
Visually, it looks...
the beginning of the level is gorgeous. I absolutely love the way Planet Wisp looks. And then you get to the construction area, then you really can't tell it apart from Sonic Colors, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not hard. It's just really fucking long. That's about it. And I wasn't looking forward to the Doppelganger challenge when I did it.
I haven't done that yet.
Which I barely fucking won.
Yeah. Well, I know the level design's better because I had to search for red rings.
Well, I didn't get all the red rings for the modern Planet Wisp yet, or
that was the only level I didn't.
Well, I imagine I had
modern Sonic Planet Wisp was the only level I didn't get any red rings on my first time.
But you got them all anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I did the red ring. About half an hour.
Okay, so it's not that long.
3 of them are fairly easy once you actually stop to look around for them.
Yeah.
The 4th one is kind of a pain because you have to go a really specific route. The 5th one was a major bitch, but...
Okay, that took longer than I expected it to. What did I miss?
We're just talking about Planet Wisp.
We're running the discussion right now. I'm Johnny. But we're just getting into Planet Wisp. I think that the reason why it's so long of a level is because it's taking pretty much all 6 acts from Sonic Colors Planet Wisp and combining it into one, which makes for a really long marathon level. And the fact that you only have 1 wisp to work with, which is Rocket, it's drawn out unnecessarily so. and I would have liked more Wisp options. You enjoying that burger?
Yeah, they could have brought. Yeah.
So ultimately, it's probably my most blech level in the game.
Oh, it's it's not terrible. It's just long. That's all, and I can't say that enough. I love the music.
It seems to have a
not
fetish
classic.
for saw blades.
Yeah, classics kind of gets on my nerves. Modern's okay.
Classics Planet Wisp version is actually really underwhelming.
Can you unlock it in the sound?
No. Well, I don't think you can anyway. I haven't gotten all the red rings, so I wouldn't know.
No, you don't.
Like
For
I've
getting
got
all the
music
red rings
and
and
unlocked from the
Planet
challenge
Wisp, you
missions,
get
and,
Reach for the Stars. So if you don't get the original Planet Wisp from the sound test from the missions, then you don't get it at all. Which would have been nice to replace it with. Because again, if you get all the red rings for Planet Wisp, you get Reach for the Stars.
Yeah, well, that's modern Sonic, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I know for classic Sonic, you get the homing attack.
Yeah, for Modern Sonic, you get a Reach for the Stars.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. I don't know how exactly it would clash with the level, to be perfectly honest. But then again, like I said earlier, I think Endless Possibilities went really well with Rooftop Run. I really loved how they give us the option to change the music to whatever we liked. Well, whatever.
Toxic Cage for final boss. What? It's like the level just stops and they're like, this music is so
speaking of soundtrack dissonance, one of the Crisis City Challenge missions, the one that involves, I think it's either Cream or Blaze, plays the Sonic 3D Blast Saturn music in Crisis City. That is like one of the most out of place tracks you could possibly have in the history of the series. We have this post-apocalyptic, completely hell-driven city, and what's the music? Sonic 3D Blast's title screen.
No, do the Sonic 2 race menu theme. Da, 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 da. It's like, what?
Just another perfect stroll on the post-apocalypse.
Yeah, then we just stop to look at the screen like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, he's like wearing a monocle and flipping his stopwatch over and over again. But I love shit like that. But well, speaking of the next fight after that is the Egg Dragoon fight.
No, we want to do rival first for Silver.
Well, Silver. That's right. I forgot.
Silver the Hedgehog is like the Silver the Hedgehog they should have given us 5 years ago. I know I've said that once, but it bears repeating.
To the
boss fight is awesome.
No, you're wrong. He's gonna throw the moon at you.
It's time for some table rape, bitches.
All right.
In the meantime, there's the poster, street lights, grate somewhere. I think there's some kind of clown mask in there somewhere. Did I mention I'm a big fan of Katamari Damacy?
The first thing they did right with this boss fight was to set it in Crisis City rather than that completely fucking bland square patch of Soliana. The second thing they did right was to make it a speed-based battle, which is the complete opposite of what it was in the original game. And the third thing they did right
took away Silver's ability to grab you.
Yeah. That. Also, the sheer amount of shit he throws at you, he just comes off as a much more legitimate threat than he used to. And of course they gave him his ability to fly, not seen since the opening movie of Sonic 06 and
bullshit,
never heard
do
from
that
again
in the game.
throughout the game.
You can also
well,
teleport.
he can now.
You can also teleport.
Yeah, and I also throw these psychic shockwaves. Well, I mean,
I'm pretty sure. I think the psychic shockwaves was for was going to be a move,
but it wasn't. That's the point. But yeah, it's actually one of the more because when you're Sonic nerds like us, there's just something immensely satisfying with homing attacking that fucker and seeing him plop on the floor like that
and skid along the ground and flip all over the place.
That's for all of the hardships you gave me in Sonic 06, you little fucker. That's it is immensely satisfying for all the wrong reasons. But
Like you homing attack him, see him face plant to the ground, and then just getting on it for like 100
Yeah.
feet.
But
like, yeah,
you
I
know,
did that.
between the
It's no
between
use, bitch.
between the silver boss fight and the actual Crisis City stages, it's like the Sonic 06's presence in this game just really underlines how much wasted potential there was in the original game, especially with the silver boss. Like, it's like now that we've seen Silver in action like this, I actually wouldn't mind playing as him again, so long as he played sort of kind of like this, you know, with some speed and, you know, doing more than just
Throw
whatever
Throw box.
whatever it
Throw
was.
box. Throw box.
Yeah. Like if you're in Crisis City, maybe you can throw a car. If you're in Flame Core, maybe you can throw a rock. Every other stage,
Boxes.
throw a box. You know, it was the most satisfying part for me was at the end where he does his, you know, quote unquote meteor smash, where he like takes this massive ball of cars, wreckage, and debris and just rolls it along the road after you. And then he's in front of you trying to crush you with something, and you can just homing attack him. He plops down, he rolls along the road, and he gets steamrollered by his own giant meteor thing. And it just collapses on top of him. But you know, Silver's reason for fighting you is kind of ironic. He when you talk to him, he's like, "Are you the real Sonic, or are you a fake here to steal the Chaos Emerald?" I'm just like, "What? Really? You're
Just a
asking
flat-out
me
what?
this?"
It's like, you know, it's fucking me.
How many fucking Sonics do you know?
Well, there are two apparently.
The only thing that could make that question more ironic is if Shadow were the one asking it.
Blue Hedgehog.
What I was getting into earlier is like the whole reasoning why you're fighting the rival battles to begin with is like, well, Metal Sonic is just pretty much, yeah, I'm fucking here, and what? Like, that's it though. Like, there's no other reasoning in that. That's it.
Oh, just one thing on the whole Crisis City Sonic 06 stuff. They finally confirmed Blaze's backstory. They're using the from another dimension thing.
Oh, okay. Alright, so I don't really care about that shit anymore. I stopped caring
Ultimately,
about
it doesn't matter, but it's nice to just get closure on that.
Here's the thing, alright, so the Silver Blaze relationship is not directly touched on at all, but just as like a nod toward the fucked up continuity between the three characters, Silver shows up with Cream and Blaze during the end boss cutscene and stands right between them. It's like, okay, sure. Do we know you? I was like, you know,
Bitch, Sonic 06 never happened.
But as far as I know, the Silver personality that they're going with is actually his rival's personality.
Yeah,
I don't think.
you know, cause you're thinking into it like, why is Silver even here if Sonic 06 is wiped out of continuity?
But yeah,
And the
if
reason-
you look at Blaze's profile, it specifically says he's from another dimension, so they're going with the Rush stuff.
Yeah.
Again, not a big deal either way, just nice to have closure on that.
If you talk to Blaze, she also mentions her world too. The Egg Dragoon boss fight. I haven't played it, but from what it looks pretty much like every boss Sonic Unleashed threw at you, except for the Werehog ones.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely it's okay.
It is nice
it's
to play it
really
as normal
fucking long
Sonic
and
rather
hard
than
mode.
Werehog.
It's like for some reason they made it really fucking long for hard mode.
I haven't
And it's
played
like,
it in
does
hard
that make
mode
it any
yet.
harder? It just makes it longer.
It looks
But,
like they just gave him more hits.
They gave him more hits, and they put spikes. They put more spikes on the grind rails. Beyond that, it's just a really fucking drawn out boss fight, and I'm never gonna touch it again after I beat it. By the way, I hear that on the 360 version, if you beat all the hard mode bosses, or if you S rank all the hard mode bosses,
If you beat all the hard mode bosses, you get classic Eggman Avatar Award.
Yeah, that's it. they're like pieces to a classic Eggman costume. So you get to be Dr. Kintabor from the Archie comics because there's no way you're making your avatar fat enough to classify as Robotnik. The Egg Dragoon boss actually looks a bit more tricked out when you look at its design than it did in the Unleashed. It's like it has like wings and shit, and it's like it breaks up into 3 pieces like some sort of Megazord.
It does.
Eggman transfers between 3 different cockpit locations, and for some reason it provides you with wall jumping panels. Like what?
Hoisted by his own petard.
That has to be the most bass-ackwards retarded design element in any of Eggman's battle mechs. Since sounds like that slot machine thing from Shadow the Hedgehog.
How about a change of pace?
Christ, man.
Freeze!
I didn't even really get annoyed by the freeze or burn thing. No, wait, yeah, I did. I kind of did, actually. After a while, I just kind of wanted him to shut the fuck up. But, I wouldn't classify it as annoying as get a load of this, or take this, or you know what they say, the more the merrier. Or
you little.
Yeah, that too.
At least they had the class to have it set in 2 or 3 different inflections.
How about a change of pace? That's the new Robotnik saying from this game.
Yeah. I don't get with Eggman and repetition.
Well.
Still the king of it is got a load of this.
Yeah.
We've already touched on the final boss. We've already torn the final boss to shreds, that is. So what do you guys think of the skill system, beyond the novelty of being able to use elemental shields and power sneakers whenever the hell you want?
I'm gonna detract from this a bit, because I do not like the concept of elemental shields being a skill. I'd rather have them from monitors. It's actually
here's the thing. I get what you're saying already, but I want to counter it with something. Okay, not necessarily the skill system itself, but the concept of being able to have an elemental shield stocked up for later use. Kind of like items from Super Mario Bros. 3 or something. I like that idea, and I think they should keep it. And not necessarily as skills that you equip, but, you know...
The way, to me, I wouldn't mind if it was done both ways. The way, there is this one particular challenge mission in Planet Wisp, where you have to use all 3 shields to your ability to get to the gold ring, and I absolutely loved that challenge mission.
So, are you given the elemental shields?
You know, you have to get them from monitors, just like Sonic.
Yeah, but only during the specific.
No, that's what I meant. Do you pick them up in the level? You don't have to have that equipped.
No.
Yeah. But they never appear in the actual levels as monitors. The only way you can use them in the actual levels is to have them equipped. Now, I like the idea of having power-ups like the Power Sneaker or the Elemental Shields like stocked up so that you can use them whenever you need them, rather than waiting until the game lets you have one. It widens the possibilities for how you can use a given power-up or where you can use it, especially with the Power Sneakers, because as I said, the games never seem to give those to you in a place where they're actually useful.
At the same time, though, I really wish you were given the elemental shields a little earlier in the game. Granted, you have to do a few specific challenge missions in order to unlock the shield to begin with.
Like the first one's the Aqua Shield, that you unlock in a challenge mission in the Genesis era. Then there's one in the next era, and then there's one in the modern era. But the thing is, to unlock the challenge missions in the first place, you have to beat all 6 acts of that era. So, to get the third elemental shield, you basically have to beat the entire game.
Yeah.
Next the key hunts.
Granted, I'm loving using the shields to collect red rings, but I kind of wished I had the ability to use it earlier during my main playthrough.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. As it stands, it feels more like post playthrough, play around for no good reason material. I kind of wish, if they had let you get at those particular purchases early on, it would have been a lot more satisfying. The what am I thinking? What am I about to say? The other skills though, there are a lot of skills in the game. Most of them are just like passive skills. Like there's one skill that makes you lose slightly less speed when you're going uphill or when you're underwater. One of those things you equip because it's handy, but don't really think about whether you have it equipped or not. And then there are those completely pointless ones, like that one that gives you an extra life when you run out of lives. So it's like, okay. At that point, you might as well just fork over 500 points and buy a few extra lives before you even start the level.
Yeah. Am I the only one that was annoyed, though, about the actual process of equipping skills? Because for the longest time, I thought I was equipping skills, and it turns out that...
No, you have to go and equip them.
Start button to confirm it. That did trip me up a few times, yes.
Yeah, I hate that. I fucking hate that.
But, the only thing about skill equipping system that disappointed me was the naming system. When it says chain, I thought I was going to be able to type in my own color name by myself.
You kind of cut out there
instead, they give you a list of naming naming skills. Instead of actually typing out a name, which is something games are plenty capable of, by the way, Sega, so do it next time. They give you a list of words, and you get to pick 2 words. All right, and there's always going to be an "and" symbol between the 2. So the best I can come up with names that don't suck is to create stupid ass puns. Like my skill set that has the lightning shield is called Shock and Air. Yeah, it's not funny at all, but it was the best I could do. But they didn't include the word "all" for some reason. There's always going to be an "and" symbol in the middle. So even if you just want to make a skill set with Supersonic, which takes up your entire 100-point limit, by the way, you either have to keep it skill set D or rename it to something like Super and Sonic. Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely Sonic, but am I Super? Yeah, I didn't really get that either. But in overall, I haven't unlocked all the skills yet, and by that I mean the homing attack for Classic at this point. Again, I really wish the Insta Shield wasn't nerfed. Really fucking disappointing. Actually, I kind of wish the Insta Shield wasn't a skill. I kind of wish Sonic just had that naturally, but that's not the case.
I don't think the Insta Shield any good in any game since Sonic. It appeared in a few games like Advance, but it sucked there too.
It's more useful there than here.
Yeah. And am I the only one that really wanted to super peel out?
Me too.
Where the fuck is my super peel out? Come on. I mean, why not? It does no harm being there. Where's my super peel out at?
To be honest,
it's like rub it up during the Metal Sonic fight. It's like, now I'm playing Sonic CD.
You know what? I really couldn't give a shit one way or the other about the super peel out. And to be honest, I don't think it would look quite as cool in 3D form as it did in sprite form to begin with. Hell, they couldn't even. They didn't even give Sonic genuine twirly feet. He just gets a sort of blurry U shape beneath him whenever he's running fast.
No, it actually does envelop it. It does actually create a circular motion if you look closely enough. It's just the bottom half of that circular motion is more pronounced than the top half.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Well, my point is, it's kind of like Sonic 4 in the sense that he's actually just running normally under there. Only it looks a lot less stupid because, modern Sonic's model just doesn't look right for that kind of animation. Whereas, Classic just looks right with that kind of animation. I don't know. I'm stumbling over my meaning here. Oh no! It's on the cover. He's doing the same thing on the cover. He's got his arms held out in front of him with his fists in a ball, like he would when he's running, but he's just running. And it doesn't look wrong in the slightest because he's so cute and cartoony. Whereas classic Sonic's more on the edge, so that when he reverts to those old school cute and cuddly animations, it just doesn't look right. What did you guys think about the oh wait, we've already talked about this, haven't we?
What?
Fuck.
How
I was
about
about to
that
ask
Green
about
Hill?
Wait, what was
I was
it?
about to ask about the classic Eggman, modern Eggman scene, but no.
We've been over that.
We've already talked about it, yeah.
The one thing that kind
Getting
of
my,
annoys me though is classic Tails and Eggman talk, but classic Sonic doesn't.
Well, I don't really mind that so much, but maybe that's because I'm a Jak and Daxter fan. And Jak was the only mute character in his game at all. His sidekick would do all the talking for him, and Jak would just pantomime. And then he got voiced in the next game. Daxter made one crack about him being a mute at one point, and then everyone forgets that he used to not talk. But that's beside the point. My point is, it's alright to have one mute hero where everyone else in the game talks. And to be honest, I don't think...
I just feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity, because Classic Sonic doesn't do all that much interacting with the other characters as a result.
Yeah. There was so much potential for adorableness there, and it shines through when he actually gets a chance to do something. Like when he tries to do an air boost and fucks up massively. That was hilarious. Like he boosts about 2 inches, stops dead in midair, does that little swimming motion in the air like a Looney Tune or something, and then falls flat on his face.
But I mean,
By the way, Sonic, enjoy your future. It's gonna be great. There's actually
everyone was thinking the same thing. When I first heard that line, I was like, "Oh, you sons of bitches!"
There's actually a video where someone worked their video editing magic to post a troll face over modern Sonic's face after Sonic appears through the portal.
But that's a line though.
Things are going to go well for a while, and I think it's just going to kind of get shitty for a few years, but you'll get back to normal eventually.
There's so many things. There's so many jokes you can work with, though. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Like the Sonic 06. Dun, dun, dun.
Bro, classic Summer just has Bliss, Mephiles, Solaris, Perfect Chaos.
But no Jaleel White, ruined forever, notify.
where the whole no voice thing for Classic Sonic really becomes apparent is Classic Sonic doesn't speak at all throughout the entire game, but even his laughs are silent. There's one cutscene where he's clearly chuckling over what modern Sonic says about Eggman, and there's just nothing coming out of his mouth. It's a silent laugh. How do you laugh silently?
There's actually a slight difference depending on what Sonic you're playing as when you get to this point in the story. But when you get to the Mirror Gag scene, if you go into the Death Egg Robot boss portal the first time, the scene changes its perspective to whichever Sonic you're playing as when you enter the portal. So if you're playing as modern, you're gonna hear Sonic's hums and hums and all of that stuff. When you're watching it from Classic's perspective, you hear nothing at all coming from him.
Really? I didn't know there was a different cutscene depending on what Sonic you're on.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's a pointless little difference, but I think well, I've seen them both, but I'm not sure if both of them unlock in the cutscene list or not.
I have to test that out later on. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, you guys want to know something fucking completely random? Okay, go into the collection room and hold select for a while, and something will happen. You'll unlock this extra room. I think it has statues or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the trophy room where you have.
What?
You have the trophy room. All right. If you go into the collection room and you hold down back button, or select in the PS3's case enough for like 3 seconds, a trap hole will open and Sonic will fall into it, which leads into a trophy room. Where pretty much you have to put in different passwords to unlock different trophies. The problem is, nobody knows what those passwords are. But luckily, through the magic of GameFAQs and the internet, I did find all those passwords and I did unlock all those trophies. You're pretty much just getting 3D models of every single thing that was in Generations, all the way from the characters to the enemy designs and Big the Cat.
Really?
Yeah.
How random.
Well,
Wait.
there's Big the Cat. There's Big the Cat
Big the
and
Cat
like
has a 3D model.
Yeah, in Generations, yes, and Jet the Hawk. I don't know why. I think that's completely. I think that's more random than Big, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it's pretty neat. It just takes fucking forever to enter all those, because there's like 55 character models in all, and you got to enter a password for each and every one of them. So it's gonna take you like half an hour of your time to put them all in.
What are the passwords like words, or are they random ass combinations of letters and numbers?
It's a 6-digit number. I can give you the list if you.
I'll
Actually,
find
I think
it myself.
I think Retro has it actually. I found it through GameFAQs, but I'm pretty sure Retro has it at this point.
Alright, well, I'll do that on my own time if I ever feel inclined to bother. Alright. So that's interesting.
Anyone notice the little puppet from Unleashed on the shop cart?
Well, the Wentos Chow doll?
Yeah.
Really? No, I didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to look at. I'm gonna have to look to see that. They have a lot of random shit in that cart. It just all sort of bleeds together.
The Wentos Chow dolls on there.
Have like spare pairs of gloves on display there. Just in case Sonic bursts his again, transforming into another werehog. And let me see.
He collects how many? Where does he keep all those gold rings? I've never been about. I've always been meaning to ask. I just keep forgetting. Damn it, Tails, you did the same damn thing back in the day.
Well, I think we've said everything we need to say except for general opinions. Now, I think we've let this, marathon impressions video drag on for way too long as it is. So, starting with you, Johnny, what do you think?
Oh,
Sum it up.
damn it. Why me? Well, I am writing a review as I speak, anyway.
Why isn't the review out already?
Shut up.
I demanded it Tuesday at 12:02 in the morning. You should have had the game done by then.
Just for clarification, yes, people, I'm reviewing the fucking game. And yes, I'm doing an LP of it later. Much later. Not now.
Speaking of which,
but,
are we doing a
what?
Playthrough of it soon?
Do you guys want to do a playthrough of it soon?
Yes.
I can record the game if you want.
Well, since the game picks up where Colors left off in a very fucking arbitrary way, but still, we could just do Colors first and then do Generations right afterward. But we shouldn't be making these plans during an impressions video. Johnny, what do you think of the game? You're not getting off the hook that easy.
We're keeping our subscribers in suspense. Will we or won't we do a Generations playthrough in the next week or so?
Alright. First off, I want to, look. I'm kind of on two sides of the coin here. On one hand, I think the level designs are some of the best that we've had so far in a 3D environment. On the other hand, the level themes are not original. It's all, the level themes are all from previous Sonic games. There's nothing new. There's nothing fresh here in terms of environments. But at the same time, because the levels themselves are so well designed, they're so structured well in a 3D environment and a 2D environment, it's almost like a completely new game in itself, even though the themes are incredibly familiar with us. But to me, in this case, the gameplay just more than makes up for it, regardless of such, and I think this is, without a doubt, one of the best 3D Sonic games ever made. I think it's better than Adventure 1 and 2. I think, okay, in that case, I'm going to say it's my favorite 3D Sonic game ever. You know, the classic Sonic stages are nice. You know, personally, to me they still don't beat out the overall feel of the classics, but it's a nice addition regardless. And you know, overall, the two just work well together. You know, there's something for everyone in this game. Regardless if you're a fan of the adventure style gameplay, the Unleashed style gameplay, and or if you just like the classic,
or if you're old like us.
That too. There's something for everyone here, and I think it's amazing for that.
There's even something for shitty MIDI files.
This was, Unleashed was the step in the right direction. Colors was the jump in the right direction. This is the right direction. This is the goal.
Now we just need to wait for. Now we just need to wait for Sega to do something with it when they're not relying on nostalgia to sell the game.
Yeah, that's what to me at this point. Okay, you've shown us that you can get the 3D element pretty good, and you can pull off multiple pathways incredibly well with the Unleashed style gameplay. Now give me something original in terms of level design, a level theme. I mean, let's not rely on nostalgia to boost anticipation for the game. Give me something fresh with this style of gameplay in mind.
To be honest, I don't think they'd be able to sell a game with nostalgia after this, simply because between this and Sonic 4, that they've kind of hammered that into the ground and buried it.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna have to do something original with the next game. If they do this sort of thing again anytime soon, people are probably going to be a lot more cynical about it.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Ryan? What's your basic sum of
probably the best 3D Sonic game. Just again from a lot of reasons Johnny said. However, I also think there's a lot of missed opportunities, and it mostly in the story. Because again, you could have done a lot more tongue-in-cheek things in the past. Could have brought up a lot more things.
Could have done more with classic Sonic pantomiming.
Yeah.
I'm more or less agreed on all points. Except I do think that the game could have done with more zones.
The game is a bit short.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of content. I think it suffers from Super Mario Sunshine syndrome, in the sense that many levels, but there are a lot of side missions each level. And if they made a game with the exact same number of missions spread across more stages, I would be happier with that. Like, instead of 9 zones with 10 missions each, make it, let's try to be reasonable here, 15, 14 zones with 5 or 6 missions each. Focus on just making the missions the ones that don't suck, and make it a more rounded out package. Because one of the things, I was reading the reviews before I got my copy of the game. One of the reviewers said that it was actually some of the challenge missions that talked him out of giving the game a 9. And I can sort of see where he's coming from that, because some of the missions are downright infuriating. Well, like, just as many are fun as hell, but I just think the series is getting closer to giving us that one big cohesive, coherent package that we want from a Sonic game, and at the same time it's taking massive leaps forward in the level design department. Even the control is getting gradual fine-tuning. One of the bigger steps that they need to take is to make sure that all of the content measures up to its own standard, so that we don't have another bomb throwing mission like Mario Galaxy 1 had. You know, those kind of those little patches of gameplay that just stand out as really, really bad next to all the good in the rest of the game. Sonic Generations has quite a few bits like that.
Vector's music bouncing mission.
The saving grace, have to touch it. It's just, you know, unless you're a completionist or something.
Yeah, I'm at least glad for that, because I know with that many missions, there are going to be a ton of, well, not necessarily a ton, but there's going to be a few of infuriating missions. Like, okay, all I have to do is beat it to get the goods. I don't have to S rank it or anything.
Well,
but knowing you, Lewis, you're going to S rank them anyway because you have nothing better to do with your time.
Well, half the time I S rank them on my first try anyway. If you S rank it when you're actually just doing it. I haven't really gone in depth as to what I mean about this, but the ranking system is kind of fucking arbitrary in this game because it's really easy to get an S rank, even if you take quite a few hits on your way through. As long as you make it through a level in a reasonable amount of time with a decent number of rings when you hit the goalpost, you're going to S rank. It's not hard to get an A rank. As long as you get an A rank without dying, you get an S rank. I was like, I don't even think it. I think it's barely possible to get a C or D rank, and I've got like maybe.
I've only gotten a D rank. I've only gotten a few Bs, maybe one C, and I've gotten 2 Ds. But everything else was either A or S.
And those were in missions.
Mostly S's.
The only time I've ever gotten B's in levels was when I was just taking a fucking long time looking for red rings.
Well, in any case, the long and short of my opinion is it's a great game. I would say not worth the price, but they did have the sense to cut the price down to $50 from the word go, so it is a bit cheaper to make up for its relative shortness. If I were to advise a non-Sonic fan on whether to get this game or not, I would say either wait for a price drop or wait for a nice used copy to roll around, but definitely give it a play. Sonic fans, because of the whole nostalgic-asm aspect, I'd say it's a bit more worth it for us. Simply because 20th anniversary of Sonic and all that. As far as 20th anniversary games go, I can't really think of it being much better than this. So yeah.
Well, it could have a better story, that's about it.
Well, yeah. Excuse me. So,
would you guys agree that it's better than the 15th anniversary?
Oh man, it took me a few minutes to remember what actually came out on the 15th anniversary.
5 years ago, Lewis. 5 years ago.
I'd say it's better than the 15th anniversary, maybe just about even with the 10th.
Well, I can't really compare it with the 10th because I didn't have a Dreamcast when Sonic turned 10, so I didn't get a chance to play Adventure 2 yet. But
yeah. Well, Adventure 2 was more of a new experience, and it stood on its own 2 feet. So on those merits, yeah. I'd call it just about even with Generations, even though I prefer Generations personally.
I do too.
Alright. So I'd say we've gotten everything, all
so
set.
How about that IGN review?
Oh. You know what the thing is? The IGN review doesn't even give it a bad score. It's just that what it does complain about doesn't really, it's kind of like with Sonic 4. I have my signature on Sonic Retro has immortalized this particular quote of mine, but I was complaining about IGN and GameSpot with their reviews of Sonic 4. One of them gushed about it, but was absolute shit about telling what was actually good, and the other one trashed the game and complained about everything but what was actually bad. So, yeah. IGN's review of this game wasn't quite that off base, but still.
They complained about a lot of things that really didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like they complained about his friends just even being there. It's like, really?
But you know what?
You're still on this IGN.
But you know what? Despite that, I think they actually gave the game more or less the right score. So what can I say? There were like one or two reviewers that utterly trashed the game, haven't there? Game Informer, I remember hearing about.
Game Informer hates every Sonic game ever.
Tim Turrey's reviews of Colors and Sonic 4 were okay. I haven't read the Game Informer review for Generations. I probably be getting that issue in the mail pretty soon. But the second-hand account that I've heard is apparently that they spent the entire review bitching about how they hate modern Sonic, or how they hate modern Sonic games in general. And if the review's as bad as that made it sound,
I haven't read that review. If that's the case, then way to miss the fucking point. But
yeah,
it is, yeah. We got you got those reviews. Everyone looks forward to them. Everyone's like, I get the few people that says like, oh, if it's Metacritic score is not above 80, it's a terrible game. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? Because okay, so that with that logic, if it's a 79, it's horrible. And I just look, I understand why you want to go through professional reviews. See if you want to see a general idea if the game is worth your time or not. But there are times where you have to judge for yourself, and Generations is one of those games.
It's just one of those cases where Sonic has such a bad rap with the reviewers.
I would say try the demo.
It's just one of those things where Sonic has such a bad rap with professional reviewers, you can't quite take the reviews of his games seriously, even when they're bad. Because ultimately, they're just kind of going to hate everything.
Well, I would say you can't take them at face value whether they're good or bad, because, in some cases, what you're gonna get are reviews like half the reviews of Sonic 4, where they say it's classic Sonic the way you remember it. Because it's totally not. And then you're going to get reviewers like that just trash it because it's modern Sonic.
Yeah.
And Sonic 4 was the odd case where you would get both in equal quantities.
You're absolutely right when it comes to not taking the reviews at face value, because I want to bring up a particular case here. I mentioned that I played Catherine, which everyone told me was great, had great review scores. I played it, didn't like it.
Oh, it wasn't your thing.
It wasn't my, but but at the same time, you can't always trust review scores. Sometimes it's all about preference and playing the game for yourself.
Alright, that's not, that's a good point, but I don't think comparing Catherine to Sonic is exactly,
well, I'm just talking about...
I don't think it works so well, because Catherine is clearly its own thing, niche title, so it's a preference there.
So...
am I the only one who's hearing Johnny skipping and then talking at hyperspeed?
Yeah, there was a little bit of blankness going on. I guess it's time to...
What, I was talking at hyperspeed? Really? What did I sound like?
Okay, I
hope the recording is picking this shit up.
Okay. At this point, if the video quality is fucking up, I think we should just end it here. Yeah. Good old brain scratch.
Sure.
Right,
Later,
so
people.
That was our roughly 2.5 hour.
Oh, we didn't hit the 5-hour mark. I'm disappointed.
You know what? Don't even bother timing it. Just call it way too fucking long.
I'm pretty sure I could have played through. I'm pretty sure I could have played through every level in the game by this point.
Yeah, I could have too.
Next time we go over for 5 hours talking about the Smash Brothers teaser trailer. Who will be in it? What stages will be in it? What kind of music will be at? The endless discussion commences.
Oh no, not again.
I'd spend the entire talk eating popcorn because I'm just not one to speculate for extended periods of time about that shit. But
oh, you don't know what
Let me explain what was actually happening with John to your dialogue there, Johnny. What was happening was Skype was massively delaying its transmission of anything you said, and whenever it did, it would eventually catch up with itself. And when it did that, it would just basically let out everything it hadn't already sent us, all in one massive rush. So you'd wind up speaking for like 5 times faster than you actually intend to, for a couple seconds.
I really
before
hope
you
playback got that.
Well,
I
I
really
really
hope
see in
it-
the editing process.
Yeah, I had to see the editing process, but you know, it was my voice that all auto-tuned, like
Yeah.
it was an adventure.
All right, so that's it. Bye, everyone.